So let's get started. Ms. Nikki, Alexander Nick, are you going to public comment as well as?
Yes.
Okay, go. You've got 2 minutes. Go right
So
ahead.
I just want to let the Granada Hills South neighborhood, my name is Alice Nikki, I'm with Green Water Watch. We'll be talking on something later on the agenda, but I wanted to let the neighborhood council know about an opportunity to address the LA Department of Water and Power on what's called their Integrated Resources Plan, which is a document that they put together looking at the next 20 years of where they're going to be getting their energy. You may have heard that the city council just passed a motion looking to study 100% renewable energy, which is a great thing. But this is where we can really, rubber hit the road now and engage with PWC in this process. They're only looking at 65% renewable energy, which is great. But there's a little disconnect. There's a lot of pushing we can do, and obviously we're supporting 100% renewable future as soon as possible. So this is an event I would like to invite you all to. And if anyone is interested in the audience, I have flyers.
Can you give us a date?
Sure. It's November 3rd, 6 to 8 p.m. at Pacoima City Hall, 13520 Van Nuys Boulevard.
All right, next speaker, I don't know if this is first name or last name. Dustin? Dustin?
Go ahead. Go up by the podium, and then you can address the board members up there. Just tell them your story.
Come forward, sir. Would you give us, if Dustin is your first name, would you give us your last name as well?
He doesn't have to.
Say it again.
Sir, please do not interrupt. Go ahead, sir. You have 2 minutes.
Last name, Kid.
Thank you. Can you spell it again?
Spelling M-C-C.
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir. You got your time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
How many?
2 minutes. Up to 2 minutes.
Nice to have assistance for reinsertion into society, help with storage, help with housing, training, education programs, and miscellaneous help for participation, participation with economics, and economically participating society, with all society.
Anything else?
And just assistance like with things and just help like for promoting healthy society works.
All right. Thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next, that's for number 3. Number 4, public comment. Francois Woolman. Ms. Woolman, you have 2 minutes. Yes, sir. Whenever you're ready. You with him, sir?
Yes.
Okay, come on up.
All right, what's going on?
Do you mind if I start? I'm on public comment as well. Is that okay?
Well, usually one at a time, but.
Okay.
Okay. So,
My name is Randy Brown. This is Coach Francois. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Coach.
Francois Woolman.
He's the coach of Granada Hills Charter Cross Country, and we come to the board today to ask for support from the board. Granada Hills has a great reputation, and the reputation exceeds throughout the whole valley. And once my son joined the team, I'm actually one of the parents on the cross country team. I go around a couple of these events, and I notice one thing: our representation of Granada Hills isn't there. Our canopies are kind of old and falling apart. And I actually have some pictures that I'd like to hand to the board. But to kind of represent our side of Granada Hills and represent the team. A lot of times that kind of coexists with the community. So we just come here to ask for support for some funds for some new canopies so we could, go to the events. We have events pretty much all over California. So we're representing everywhere. So it's also representing the community as well. It's Granada Hills. And I know it is a big part of the community as well. You like that?
Thanks for the writer inviting me to come over. I'm the head cross country coach. I'm also a teacher here at the Hills Charter. We have an incredible program. We're ranked third in the city. The boys and fourth in the girls. Like the rights, we travel all over the state to represent Granada Hills, and we're expanding the canopy. And so they were inviting me to present myself.
Have you filled out a grant request?
Yes.
Has it been submitted?
Actually, we're
I'm asking because we've always supported Granada.
Oh, okay, okay.
So,
Yeah, I actually got, I could hand out, I made a couple copies of the quote, some pictures of the surrounding schools and our canopy with our team in the pictures. And I also got, it's a 501c3 copy for, and I'm pretty sure you probably got a copy of that already. So if you don't have one here to turn in.
that's a good thing that just attached to it.
Yes.
We'd be happy to consider it.
Okay, thank you very much. I
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Thank you.
Yes, you may.
Richard, have you asked the high school if they're fine with canopy?
Well, we have a specific budget,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes just, we buy the canopy ourselves and put it on the pocket.
I just wanted to add, the canopies that are supplied now were actually from his pocket. So, he believes in the team himself. So, for him to bring money out of the
Well, I am a
program.
retired teacher, I don't think teachers should have to pay for it out of their own pocket.
Yes.
I think
But you look around a lot of the schools I've been representing, they're looking around with a very good program.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you have, how much is your grant for, like, for requesting?
For 2,500. And basically, that will cover, because we thought about going with something a little cheaper, but we want the following years to take advantage of these canopies and for it to last a long time to benefit other students.
Can you make sure we get your names, phone numbers, and emails so that we can have you come to the outreach committee meeting and we'll discuss that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. John McHugh? John McHugh. That's yours.
I got plenty of them.
You have 2 minutes, sir, for a comment on non-agenda items.
Just wanted to reiterate on the homeless support.
Can you speak up, please?
I just wanted to reiterate on the topic of homeless support. I noticed that there's no longer any assets that are given unto homeless for the aid for identification. There's really no outreach program to help any of them with transportation needs, to help them actually get work. It's needed in every community in Sacramento Valley. There used to be a number of different transportation hubs that you could actually get coins, you could get bus passes from, and there used to be outreaches that would hand out flyers constantly to people to help them with work. And none of those resources are here. I recognize that they were here 3 years ago, and they're no longer here. I don't know if the funding is dried up. I don't know if the funding has been diverted to something else. I've noticed that funding seems to be drying up for everything. I do know that there is tax revenue that's used in general fund of the state of California, usually for transit authority, and it's used in many ways, but that's just government ways. But if there is any money like that, if it could possibly be diverted to people that actually need it instead of using it for certain programs for persons of other natural descent, possibly it would be greatly appreciated because we need to invest in infrastructure with people that have actually put tax funds into this country, considering what it's
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know the last name of this, Mariola. Come forward, please. Come around over here, just stand here a second.
So I'm homeless, I'm living in the car now, I'm disabled, waiting years and years for disability. And would be nice if having the pool in Northridge Park, there's the recreation place, there is a pool and there is a showers. And our idea was maybe there would be possibility that we can maybe 2 times a week use the showers in there for homeless people. Somebody just take care of this one, our people could do it, then they pay whatever they're responsible and clean. And another thing is, would be good idea for us to use maybe like microwaves. Like I know there is a little room by Northridge Recreation in the back, by the bathrooms. We can have enter sometimes to use the microwave. Because we're eating 99-cent food. It's cold all the time and it's not pleasant to eat all the time. Like people with diabetes, like me and some other people, we can't eat all the time when we have the ingredients in store. At least if we could do it with something warm up or frozen, would be better food. Would be very helpful.
Thank you. Ariella, do you want to give us your last name for the minutes?
Gurfinkel,
Would you spell that for us?
Gurfinkel.
Thank you very much for your comments, really appreciate it. All right, again, someone that did not give us their last name, Aaron?
Yes.
Aaron, non-public comment, you have 2 minutes, sir.
All right, basically, I've lived in Granada Hills for over 10 years. I went to Granada Hills High School here in Kingston. I'm not always homeless as I am right now, obviously. I'm disabled and I'm on SSI. I'm one of the few that's actually received my Social Security. It's not ever really enough to actually pay rent though and get and supply food on these days. But anyways, I know some of the issues that the people that are, I live in a car, but not everybody that has been so fortunate that lives in this city and in any city in America that finds themselves without being in front of I think that Granada Hills, as far as the level of harassment that happens, is fairly good in that region. We don't get harassment so much as people do in other cities in the south. The police tend to be are starting to be much more understanding. And but as my friend Mariola was stating, yeah, there's just I don't feel there's any programs for like showers, programs for showers or to maybe outreach programs for maybe offering meals or a shower truck or something. And these are really simple things. I mean, I know it's that we're not, you guys are not obligated, necessarily to do these things, but they do reduce the incidence of health claims and overall, when people tend to be more cared for, they tend to care for themselves more, and the cycle tends to stop just a little bit. Anyways, I appreciate your time, and my name is Aaron Schurkheim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Really appreciate your comments.
Take care.
Number Wayne, someone named Wayne from Encino.
So first of all, under the Brown Act, you're allowed or required to put the last name of the state. You didn't do your training, right? So
You have up to 2 minutes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, so see, already you're getting contentious and angry, so you're handling this correctly. Now, why don't you have to get the last name of your real name? Because when they splash my name, thanks to that termite council president, and every black newspaper, they decided to go after and hunt and have a bounty on my head to kill me. So I had to go into hiding for a little bit after May 13, 2016, because the schmucks like you that have to get my goddamn name out.
All right, sir, you're out of order, and your time is up.
No, Meshuggah.
No, sir, you're out of order, and your time is up. Thank you very much
I
for
have
your
a right,
comments.
Meshuggah, to talk for my 2
No.
minutes, because it's about items of public matters involving the
Sir, you're out of
jurisdiction.
order, and your time is up. Thank you very
You can't
much.
move somebody out of order in general public comment on matters within the jurisdiction of the city. It's impossible.
If you're being intentionally disruptive, yes, you
It's
are.
absolutely impossible
Okay,
to do
well-
that based on the content of one's speech. It's absolutely impossible.
Well, sir,
Completely violating the First Amendment of California, the Ralph M. Brown Act. And the why? Because you can't keep it within yourself. That's the problem with your council president. That's the problem with you. That's the problem with your councilman. You can't keep it within yourself and be a representative of the people. Everything with you people has to be goddamn personal. It can't just be business. It has to be personal. Everybody has to come here and kiss your ring. The guy over here that gets 6 minutes to cry for $2,500. I like you. I eat your sandwiches. Give me $2,500. and you're going behind everybody's back in violation of the Brown Act, making a negotiation for $2,500 when you're not allowed to under the Brown Act because it's not agendized. And that's why I'm here. Stop violating the law and conducting this criminal goddamn enterprise of yours and do the job and represent the people and let the people
Your
see
time
it
is up,
clearly.
sir. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
comments.
Thank you.
See you later.
Mr. Kuzman?
Oh, yeah, certainly. I'll go this way. The camera's aimed at.
Sounds good to me. Let's roll it.
Hi, everybody. I'm William Kuzman. Very happy to be here tonight. I want to thank the board for getting notification out of the special meeting way in advance. And the publication on Nextdoor.com, the outreach for this meeting was pretty good. I also want to compliment you on your improved minutes taking. I've noticed that they've improved since Julie has taken over as secretary. Kudos, Julie, and thank you. I do have some problems with record keeping, but I'll address those probably in written comments rather than here today. I'm more interested in, you guys have to follow the Brown Act law, and the Brown Act law has rules for me too that I must abide by as well. And one of those rules is that I can't take legal action on anything unless I've stated it at a public meeting. Now, on May 19th, when the board was discussing outreach items for the fair, Bonnie Burr said, well, let's require the email address for them to spin the wheel. Now, in the next comment, I said, it's in the minutes, Bonnie, by the way. This is why I'm complimenting on minutes. They're very good. The next public comment, I had to say something that this was a potential Brown Act violation. And although my comment was put into the minutes, 2 words were missing, Brown Act. So there's no record for the government to know that I was here and said, you are about to violate the Brown Act and you do this. And then I go to the fair, and what is happening? Everybody has to stand in line, and you had a great line. I know you got hundreds of email addresses, but they were all obtained illegally, and this is why. They had to stand in line. Maybe you talked to them, maybe you didn't. Maybe you told them that sheet was voluntary, or maybe you didn't. But the Brown Act says you have to put on any sheet you put out for your signature that it must be voluntary, and you must also disclose that it's subject to a Public Records Act request. So when they put down their information, they know that it might be public. So I warned you, you left 2 words out of the minutes, and then you went and did it anyway, and there was no disclaimer on your signing sheets. And on top of that, and I'm sorry, whoever was in the booth and whoever's relative this is, but there was it was Darren and Joel working with Joel spinning the wheel.
Your time is up, sir.
Okay, the bottom line is you had a teenage girl in that booth representing the neighborhood council that told people they had to sign the list.
Your
before
time
they
is
could
up.
spin the wheel.
I have no other cards for public comment. Is there any other public comment? Anyone that did not sign a card? Bonnie?
I just wanted to thank the neighborhood council again for the donations to COP. We had the ceremony that many of you attended on December, October 2nd. On Sunday, we had a huge turnout from it, but also I did a booth at the street fair, and it was amazing how many people came up to the Granada Hills and Union Association booth and commented about how happy they were about the park. People, it was like, I was shocked at how many people came up and said that the park was a really nice, visible improvement to Granada Hills. And I also heard from some of those people that they were really impressed with the neighborhood council. That they did talk about that they had seen all the people working at the booth, and a lot of people were hanging around the booth. So it was considered one of the most successful booths there. You guys got a lot of attention with your booth, and you did what you were supposed to do. You created a lot larger list for your outreach, which is, it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. You do everything you can to get your list to be bigger for emails and outreach, and then somebody tells you that you're doing it the wrong way. But thank you very much. You did a great job.
Thanks, Bonnie. Appreciate the comments. Anyone else? Public comment who didn't turn into questions? All right, seeing no hands, is anyone from Council District 12 here tonight? I didn't see Eric. And I don't see Officer Del Cor either. Mark, do you have anything from Bank or Lank that you want to report on?
Only
Oh,
that
that's front.
Yeah, only that it blew my mind that Lang met on Labor Day weekend, which I didn't go to the meeting. And they also had another meeting just recently where homelessness was addressed. And I'm going to have an announcement when we bring you around to the event for the we had the Congress, and the Congress went really well. There were a whole lot of people in attendance, and actually the bank meeting, the last bank meeting I attended had a lot to do with that. So that's basically all that worked.
Thank you. Let's move on to approval of the minutes for the September 1st, 2016 regular meeting. You've all had an opportunity to look at them, I hope. Any additions or corrections? All right, seeing none, I think we're ready to take a vote. Do I have a motion for approval? Motion made by Julie Carson. Is there a second?
Second.
Aye. Mark Morris. Thank you, Mark. Any discussion from the board? Any discussion, public comment on the minutes? Okay, hearing no discussion, we're ready to vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand. Anyone opposed? You need more time, Julie, to count?
Did you count?
12.
Yeah, I did.
Let's do it again. Raise your hand, please.
Yeah.
Anyone opposed? And anyone abstaining? Mr. Trinidad abstains. And Ms. Hurst abstains. And Mr. Benedetto abstains.
Wait, who abstained?
The abstentions are Mr. Trinidad,
Credit.
Ms. Hurst, Mr. Benedetto. Okay, everyone else is in favor. Minutes are approved. We are going to postpone the approval of budget report, monthly expenditures, because we don't have enough copies for the board and for the audience tonight. I apologize for that. Next month we will take up the both. We're always a month ahead. We'll take up August and September for September and October at the November regular meeting. Board issues, starting with A, appointment and confirmation of Justin Kim as the Youth Activities Director. Justin, come on forward here, please. I think most of you know Justin.
Yes.
Justin was on our board last year as the youth activities, or you, I'm sorry,
Student director.
student director. And he ran for election again, but Andrew beat him. Okay, it's all democracy. However, we have a vacancy in the youth activities position, and I've asked Justin if, in as much as going to CSUN, and he was involved in any kind of youth activities that might qualify him. And Justin, why don't you tell us about the group that you're involved in?
Okay, so right now I'm involved within 501c3 called Semester 4. We go to all the elementary schools in the area, in the valley, and we started expanding to South Central. Pretty much what we do is we bring dance programs to these classrooms that don't have any type of program like that. So yes, they have computers, but they don't have any outdoor psychomotor skills type classes. So what I do is program I'm with teaches dance, like ballroom dancing skills, like salsa, tango, swing, things like that, brings to the classroom. And at the end, currently we're involved in 20 different schools. And at the end, we have a yearly competition where all 20 schools come together and compete for which school has the best prize, which school has the best dances, all that, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's the program I'm involved in right now. My past experience with youth also comes from, I used to work at the YMCA, as a camp counselor and also a school site counselor, where I would also work with elementary school kids in that capacity as well.
Thank you, Justin. I'm hereby moving that we appoint Justin Kim to the youth activities position, seconded by Mr. Benedetto. Public comment on this?
I think I have a card in, but I'm going to pass on this one.
Thank you.
I've got for every single one of these.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, you put it all in one card. It's very
Well,
difficult to answer.
again, I could have filled out 20 cards.
Thank you. All right, so, board discussion, starting in favor of. Opposed? Any discussion opposed? All right, we're ready to vote then. All those in favor of confirming Mr. Kim to the youth activities position, please raise your hand.
Can I learn salsa?
It's everybody.
As long as it's not a condition of your vote.
Okay,
As long as I'm not your partner.
That would be
Okay, the vote is unanimous. Thank you very much.
We're being monitored.
Grab a chair and sit over by Brandon, please.
You be my bodyguard.
You may need it, right?
That's part of my, right?
Go to B, appointment and confirmation of Jeffrey Bohr as chair of the bylaws committee. Previously, we had approved members of the bylaws committee. Mr. Matthews indicated that he did not want to be chair, and Mr. Bohr has volunteered. I correct in that, Mr. Bohr? You have volunteered. Thank you. So he's already a member of the committee. This is simply to name him as chair so that we can begin some meetings on the bylaws which we need to work on. So I hereby move that you confirm Mr. Bohr as chairman of the bylaws committee. Seconded by Mr. Benedetto. Beat you to it. Any public comment on this? Mr. Kuzman.
First of all, I'd like to say I think this is probably a very, very, very good choice because Mr. Bohr used his leadership skills in 2013 when I had to file a grievance against the board for non-compliance with rules. And he led and chaired the grievance panel and worked with them tirelessly for hours because my grievance was huge. I mean, I commend you, Jeff, for taking on that task as a volunteer. So I know that Jeff understands the rules and probably also understands maybe some of the needs and things that need to be changed. Part of those things that need to be changed is we need more transparency, we need more accountability, and part of that is standing rules. This board has made a lot of standing rules. This board has also created committees, but we don't have a single record of them. They've all happened at meetings throughout the last 3 years. And my suggestion is before the board makes any more appointments to anything, that the bylaws committee meet as soon as possible, meet under relaxed Robert's Rules of Order so it's more of discussion and a person isn't limited to one comment and can actually engage in conversation so that the input is more discussion-like rather than state your opinion and you're done. Some committees here do that to respect. The last beautification committee, Latitude Outreach Committee, always willing to give a member of the public more opportunity than 1 or 2 minutes to speak. They're included in the discussion, which is the kind of the relaxed rules of order. So maybe something like that in the standing rules, a requirement to keep minutes. You have a requirement to keep a roll call vote on every item on the agenda that you take action on. This is the Brown Act law. That trickles down to any standing committee, because by definition, a standing committee is a independent legislative body of its own. So kudos to this choice for the appointment to the chair, and as soon as you have a meeting, the better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzman. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, motion is on the floor. Board discussion. Anyone in favor wants to discuss? Anyone? Yes, Bonnie?
I'm just absolutely in favor of it. He has a very good grasp on it. I appreciate that he volunteered for that.
Thank you. From another member of the bylaws committee. All right, I think we're ready. Anyone opposed to this appointment? Want to speak? All right, we're ready to vote. All right, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Your other right hand. Justin, you may vote on this if you like. You can vote on it. It can be, okay, so the motion is unanimous, let it so be recorded. All right, moving on to the next thing. Appointment and confirmation of John Salidos as co-chair of the Plum Committee. John is not here tonight, he's at a Boy Scout meeting, honor meeting for induction of Eagle Scouts at his church. However, those of you that know John know that he's been on the Plum Committee for several terms, and you also know that he was, thank you, he was on our first term, was the chairman of the Plum Committee at that time, the first term when he was a board member. I asked John to co-chair this because Jerry Askew is now gone, and turned in a resignation. And I think it's important that we have, for this committee, a co-chair that can step in case of the absence of the chair, in as much this key committee. We've had a co-chair, I think, for about the last 3 terms. So I'm moving that we appoint and confirm John Salidos as a co-chair for this committee. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Gore?
Yep.
All right. Public comment on this? Yes, sir.
I'm kind of shocked. This is the first official notice that Jerry resigned from the board. His name is still on the agenda tonight. Robert's Rules of Order say when somebody resigns, you gotta approve it now, or something of that nature. Second, John Salidos is a stakeholder. John Salidos is not here tonight. When you appoint a stakeholder as a neighborhood council board, you're elevating their status. You are giving them more power than the average stakeholder. They have more rights at the committee meeting they're appointed to. And if they're on, say, that outreach committee, like Cammie's been appointed to, well, outreach committee votes on money things all the time. And when you're voting on money things, you have ethics things. So don't you think a stakeholder should take the funding training and ethics training if they're going to be on a committee that votes on a recommendation that's going to be brought to you? Likewise, if someone is on the Planning and Land Use Committee and is a code violator like Maria Fisk, should he remain on the Planning and Land Use Committee? Because how can somebody give input when they break the laws themselves, showing that they might not necessarily have the thing to know when they should be excusing themselves or recusing themselves? They haven't taken ethics, they haven't signed the code of conduct. Bullying, harassment, HIPAA violations, these are all the results of not doing things the right way. But you've been told last year when the HIPAA violation occurred, keep your mouth shut, and you didn't do it. And Jerry was one of the people responsible. Speaking of Jerry, he sent me a letter telling me to cease and desist libel and slander against him, and if I did so, something else was going to happen. You know, I'll turn it in later and give it to Julie so it doesn't get lost as a public document, because I know Julie will do her job. I mean, come on. I'm going to ask you to defer this appointment to the next meeting. I'd like to have John here and tell us what his qualifications are with the Brown Act, because if he's co-chair, he's going to have to chair the meeting. He's going to have to know the rules, because I'm going to be there, you know.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Not defamation if it's true, Mr. Fisk.
Mr. Jones? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wayne from Encino.
Yeah, so, anyway, Mr. Jerry resigned. Now we got, somebody appointed and is not here, make the case for his presentation. He's busy with other things. Doesn't have time for this. Doesn't have time for you. Doesn't have time to go to his own confirmation hearing. I mean, it's like you're a Supreme Court nominee and you get appointed, don't you show up for the confirmation hearing? So, why, you wouldn't show up to your confirmation hearing. I know people have text messages, I know they have emails, I know they have internet, I know even WikiLeaks, you know, and they could have just simply deferred this item off of this agenda, sign a dia. That's what the schmucks with my fear call for another day. You could adjourn this to the next meeting and let this guy come here and ask some of these questions, because, you know, apparently over there at public safety over in Van Nuys, you know, they're over there chatting all the time, you know, Van Nuys City Hall. You got the building inspection department on the first floor underneath Mary Martinez's office. And you know what somebody told me? They're like, hey, one of these people, one of these neighborhood councils got a cease and desist order. You know, got to tear down a building illegally on a property. I'm like, what? Who's that? Well, I can't say. I'm a city worker. So, you know, after a while, you figure that out. So, what's John going to do about that? You know, you got somebody here that's involved with this body that's got a cease and desist and a tear down order in order to comply. What the hell's that all about? Why is that not on the agenda? So again, keep up the good work. You're doing it just like The Sopranos. You're doing great. You're going to be able to audition. They're going to do a reboot of The Sopranos, HBO. Get an agent. You'll be right in the contract. We'll be the West Coast Sopranos. That's what we're going to be, the West Coast Sopranos. See, you guys want to
Your
operate.
time is now up, sir. Thank you very much.
You like to operate like the mafia. I'll show you how to do it.
Thank you very much.
I'll show you how to do it.
I don't know. He's pretty good at threatening.
That'd be a federal offense.
No comments from the board, please.
That's okay. You can open up debate.
All right, any other
Open up
public comment?
debate.
All right, seeing none, motion is on the board. Any discussion? First of all, take someone in favor.
Wait a minute, it's got a
Yes,
hand up.
Bonnie?
Hi, John Salidos has been active with the neighborhood council and the community for, probably from before inception, as a matter of fact, of the neighborhood council when it was being formed. He's well-known, he's very knowledgeable, he shows up at government affairs meetings at the Chamber of Commerce, so he's knowledgeable about that also. And I think he's a really good person to have on that committee. Myself, as a Jewish person, I apologize to this board for what was Yiddish slang words that are words that I would not want to repeat in English. And I'm sorry that those words have been used repeatedly tonight, because they do not state correctly anything with regard to this board.
Thanks. Any speaking in favor? Well, before I take that, your comments, Jeffrey, anybody speaking opposed? All right, Jeffrey, in favor?
Yes, I'd like to remind, our stakeholders as well as the board here. We have lives, we have businesses. I missed a meeting, I think it was 2 months ago. I was trying a case in Northern California. I don't think that should disqualify me from sitting on any committee. We have John Salidos here, who is giving of his time to mold young people, taking care of scouts. I think that's very important, and it should not be held against him. None of our virtues should ever be held against us. It's absolutely baseless. I'm very much in favor of Mr. Salidos.
Mr. Trinidad, you had a comment?
I'd like to, well, I haven't met John Salidos, and I'm really not familiar with him at all, neither from the past or anything. And I think it should be something that I'd like to see him before we do so.
All right. Any other comments? Brandon?
I met John when I started the board, and he had just finished, I think also his daughter was.
Yes, his daughter was also student director at the time.
And I've seen him involved in neighborhood council over almost the last 10 years that I've been involved in this neighborhood council. I can understand maybe some of the questioning of it. If you haven't met him, in your shoes, I probably have the same questions. But you can vote accordingly. In addition to what Jeff was talking about, we are volunteers, and I understand we're sitting here an elected body, and we can vote on certain things, community impact statements, and utilize our funds that were allocated us appropriately. But we are volunteers, and when somebody is willing to sit on this board and take some of the comments that were given to us tonight, I think that's a tremendous virtue for somebody to be willing to do. So my vote is to have John be on the board, or on the committee, I should say, in any capacity.
All right, one more comment. Mark his hand first. The parliamentarian corrects me. Mr. Morris.
This is a question, and he's clearly asked to be on.
No, he would simply be a co-chair as a stakeholder member. Cindy Wu Freeman will be the chair.
Right, I don't know him either, and I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but just so everybody knows, I will vote no. Only because I don't know who he is. You know, and I don't need to question on this day or anything, but I think it's wonderful that he's doing that. But I would like to kind of at least get, I'd like to be able to recognize him.
Yes, you recognize him. Joel?
Yeah, I just wondered, I know stakeholders sit on committees. What does our bylaws say as far as the position of co-chair? Is there anything forbidding us?
I looked at that. There's nothing one way or another. The bylaws are silent on it.
That's when you go to Robert's Rules.
I do know that there's nothing in done requirements that prevent a stakeholder from holding the chairmanship on a committee.
It's Robert's Rules then, right?
I also don't know John. Of course, I wasn't on the board for the previous 2 years. And I kind of would like to have the opportunity to get him a little, hear something about him. And his experience and what he has as far as qualifications to come. I have no objection to him personally. I just feel I'd like to have the opportunity to get him.
All right. Anyone else? Yes.
He's already on the committee.
He's already on the committee.
So we're just
Correct.
talking about letting him be a co-chair.
Having him co-chair in case Cindy Wu Freeman is absent, because she is the chair.
Problem. That is a problem.
All right.
Would it be in order, Mr. President, to table this to the next week?
Anyone can make a motion, if you like to.
Yep.
Mr. Grant?
Make a motion.
I'd rather see that, see no votes against.
Okay, so do you want to motion to postpone to the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
And I second.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Graham to postpone to the next meeting,
And second.
and seconded by Mr. Morris. Any discussion on that? Bonnie?
I have mixed feelings. I certainly don't want to end up with a no vote against somebody who is really actually a fabulous member to have on some. And I think people who think they don't know who he is would recognize him if they saw him, because he's been at so many of these meetings here. He's been around so many times, but because he's a sort of a quiet guy, they probably don't realize that that person is John Slater. So I don't even know how I'm going to vote on what's going on. I would just hate to send a message out that would be hurtful for due to error.
Well, that's fine. Okay, so we have a motion to postpone to the next regular meeting.
We got a public comment on the
Any other discussion
motion?
on this? Pardon me?
Okay, sorry.
Pardon me?
I'll let you
Public, are
finish.
you asking for public comment
Mm-hmm.
on an amendment?
Mm-hmm.
Motion to table.
You already spoke on that.
Yeah, it's not a new motion, it's a motion to table, sir. I don't believe public comment is appropriate. All right,
Okay.
Any other discussion among board members? All right, on the motion to table, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And keep it up, so Bonnie and
Who isn't voting?
We haven't done roll call votes.
you want to do a roll? Yeah, since it's split, let's do a roll call. All right, it is.
You have some colleagues.
Okay, so this is a motion to postpone.
To table.
Table.
Actually, motion to postpone to the next meeting.
So, Dave,
Abstain.
I think he's good.
No, he's a
Mike
friend of mine. I
Benedetto.
sold him his house. He's actually on my side in a way, but we
Yes.
agree to disagree. And have
Jeffrey Bowles.
opinions about how to
Abstain.
apply the laws.
Bonnie Bush.
Abstain.
Yes.
Julie Carson, yes. Jet Dunlap.
Yes.
Don Graham.
Yes.
Sally Colstad. Don
Julie, could you
Lopez.
go a little bit slower, just a little bit slower, please? Could you go back about 3 names?
Yeah, so for me, you have my vote.
Yes.
Jet Dunlap.
Yes.
Don Graham.
Yes.
Hi, Aaron.
Sally
Oh, he's got
Colstad.
something.
Don Lopez. Darren Lopez. Joel Lyle.
Good for him. It's good, man.
Mark Morris.
Yes.
Brandon. Renee Finnegan.
Yes.
Andrew Wall.
Yes.
And so passes. Motion passes.
Did you get Justin?
No, because you're not, I have a pre-printed
Right.
list. I forgot I said you want to get Justin.
I'll say yes too.
Okay, sorry.
This one's
All right, well, the chair's gonna roll while you're counting it up if the motion carries.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It was obviously a majority, whatever the number was. You want to announce it once you,
13.
13
Yes, no no's, and 3 abstain.
and 3 abstentions. All right, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to the next order of business. A board resolution confirming board members Cindy Wu Freeman, Mike Benedetto, Mark Morris, Julie Carson, and David Bay as authorized directors who submit community impact statements to the city of Los Angeles. This is on the agenda, brief explanation, this is on the agenda because the city, we've already approved our government affairs members who are the five people named here. However, the city requires a board resolution to be sent in along with the names. So that's the reason for the motion. I so move. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Lyle. Public comment on this, Mr. Kuzman?
How does Columbo do that thing? I was at every meeting except for one, maybe I missed it, the appointment of these people to the Governmental Affairs Committee, because I remember Mr. Graham at a comment saying, why don't we have a Governmental Affairs Committee? And so I'm thinking that maybe this, unless you can tell me that these people were appointed to the Governmental Affairs Committee that this board created, at which you were present, Mr. Gouvet, because you gave input on it. Eric Mansker was elected chair, and, so I don't get, this seems out of order to me. In other words, back to my other comment, you've created boards, you've created committees, you've created rules, we don't have a list, and this should be, unless you already did it, and if you did do it and appoint them to the Governmental Affairs Committee and Dunn wants you to do it this way, then really you should be undoing your Governmental Affairs Committee and then doing this resolution. It just seems a little bit cart before the horse for me. And Don, they do have a Governmental Affairs Committee, believe it or not. They just didn't remember or didn't know, or I don't know, maybe somebody didn't pay attention.
I normally don't respond to comments, but you can check the
Oh,
August
you can,
minutes. August minutes.
August?
Yes.
Which are in the back in the binder.
You have comments, sir?
Call my card.
Well, I don't see your card here. Oh, here it is.
E.
Okay, go ahead. You have 2 minutes.
So, who's going to go to City Hall, fill out a speaker card, and talk at these city council meetings on behalf of the council? You have to appoint somebody, because if you don't appoint somebody, your Lord and Majesty, the King Her Blessed gives you 60 seconds to speak, but if you're in a neighborhood council card, you get the full 2 minutes, up to 5 minutes. So on all these projects, all these things that are coming before the council and plumbed at City Hall, you gotta drive down there, not only submit your comments, but you gotta actually start going there and speaking on behalf of your people. is they're chopping this city up like a jigsaw puzzle with all these developers, these small lot subdivisions and everything. I go to the plum committee meetings with Jose Weezer, I don't see nobody here from your council. I go down to the city hall, I see people from Silmar, they show up, someone from Hunter shows up, nobody shows up. So it's not just writing a report, you gotta go in there and back it up in person. Also, city council meetings every other month in Van Nuys on a Friday, usually the first Friday of the month. Start coordinating and be there so that you're getting up and you're representing this district, because especially on the land use issues. Because otherwise, they're just gonna take your report, they're gonna care, they're gonna read it, but if you're there to speak on behalf of this body authorized, that carries a lot of weight. I defeated 4 projects last week because Venice and another couple other people came, spoke on behalf of their body, backed up their reports, and it made a hell of a difference. So somebody's gotta get their boots on the ground and drive down there and do this. Somebody's gotta be willing to do that, or none of this is for nothing.
Thank you. The responsibilities of the Government Affairs Committee are outlined in the bylaws. Their main responsibility is to submit.
They're not in the bylaws. They're not in the bylaws.
And so that's why the resolutions were in this way.
They're not in the bylaws.
Any other, seeing none?
Wait, isn't it that only a few of us can be authorized?
Only up to 5 people can be authorized.
Right, so that's why, that's my understanding of why the motion
I'm in
is.
support of all of it, so I won't be speaking, but you can say whatever you want.
Well, sure, you have public comment?
Oh,
I
yeah.
just have a question. I mean, who's to
But
say
he's
that
okay.
he's saying
I already gave my opinion.
everybody wants? I don't want that.
Well, sir, okay, thank you. If you want to make public comment on the item, you're welcome to do that. Yes, but no.
It's not on the subject.
Okay, it's not on the subject, we're on
I
this.
mean, I'm just saying, he's saying, you know, we want people to speak on the public's behalf through the committee, but who's to say that they're speaking for, they might say that he may want you guys to say the things that he wants you to say, but you're not necessarily saying the things that I want you to say.
Understood, so thank you for your comment. All right, so we're going to move to board discussion. Again, this is simply to allow us to get the names into city clerk and get authorization. We need passwords, and this resolution has to be submitted. Any discussion in favor? Yes, Johnny?
Again, I want to thank all of these people for being willing to put their time without compensation, and only to hear bad things said about them all the time, to put themselves forward and be on this committee to do that extra work.
Let the record show that Mr. Kim and Mr. Dunlap are temporary. So we
Yeah,
only-
Justin had to go. but
we still have four?
Justin's
leaving for the night?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Dunlap is out of the room. So we have 14, is that correct? Okay. I'm going to call for the question. All those in, no, Mark, I'm sorry. It's
No, I just wanted to say I appreciate the comment, and we've met. Well, you've probably seen me at City Hall quite a few times. And I will be willing, because I make myself available for especially when we meet here in the center of the valley at Van Nuys, so I will make myself available for that function.
Thank you. Sure.
And
All
can I
right.
do the roll call?
Yes, let's do a roll call vote. Same.
Okay, so this is confirmation of the 5 names.
Yes, you want me to reread it?
No, it's on there, I'm just
Okay.
confirming what we're voting on. Okay,
Yeah.
Dave, Dave,
Aye.
Michael Benedetto,
Aye.
Jeffrey Lord,
Aye.
Bonnie Burt,
Aye.
Julie Carson, aye. Jet is out of the room. Don Graham,
Aye.
Sally Polsted, Don Lopez,
Yes.
Darren Lopez,
Aye.
Joe Lyle,
Aye.
Mark Morris,
Aye.
Brandon Schindler,
Yes. Aye.
Renee Trinidad,
Aye.
Andrew Wall.
Aye.
Parliamentarian says the record says 14-0-0. All right, the motion passes. Thank you. The resolution passes. Thank you, everyone. Let the minutes reflect Mr. Dunlap is back. E, motion to host a proposition forum at our November 3, 2016 meeting and to hold a separate special board meeting for business later in the month if necessary. Mr. Bohr is asked to have this put on the agenda and has been working on this. Jeffrey, would you like to make the motion? And then I'll call on you first.
Sure, okay. Make a motion to host a proposition forum at our November 3rd meeting. In terms of holding a special board meeting later in the month if it's necessary. The reason that it may or may not be necessary is that I've reached out to both yes and no camps on each of the propositions. It's been a challenge getting them to commit, but I'm still working on it. So doing the best I can. Some are coming, some are asking questions, and some it's like pulling teeth getting any kind of response.
Can I interrupt, because we should have a motion and a second?
Yes,
Should we first then
before we have an
explain the
explanation.
motion?
That's no problem.
Yeah.
Do we have a second to this?
Second.
Seconded by Don Graham. All right, Jeffrey,
Sorry,
any other
Jeffrey.
explanation you want to give to this?
No, that's it.
Okay, so this would be, instead of a regular meeting, basically inviting proponents and opponents to basically talk about the propositions, to be, I think, good outreach to the community and an opportunity for people who had not, someone brought it to my attention, it's only a few days before the meeting, but it is what it is, so. On the motion, is there any public comment?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Wayne from Encino. You have 2 minutes, sir.
The thing, make a list of the propositions and have the board take a position on each one. And ahead of time, and then do the debate as a tentative, and then when you conclude, actually have a slate of positions that you're gonna go for. I mean, because I mean, after all, it's a yes or a no on each of these questions. They're going to tax and tax and tax for 100 years for stuff, subways. This community's never gonna see any of this money. You're gonna pay for it, but you're not gonna get any of the benefits for it. So I think an across the board no on all these bonds and all of these measures, for this place especially, this community should be no, because you're not getting anything for it. And the second thing is that Venice is studying to secede from the city. I think the San Fernando Valley, that should be taken up once again, should also do the same, because we get nothing living here. They pour all the money downtown. All you gotta do is go downtown LA, they're digging 400-foot deep holes for subways that you guys are never gonna use, your great grandkids are never gonna use. It's a waste of money. So I'd like to see the positions of everybody ahead of time and see how you guys really vote on this stuff.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Mr. Kuzman, you have 2 minutes. We won't start it till you come down.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate a lot. I really appreciate that you give us the opportunity to make public comment. I gotta tell you, as much as I bug and complain about the Brown Act violations, you gotta know your Board of Neighborhood Commissioners decided they could rewrite the Brown Act laws, so go figure. I mean, you guys look like saints compared to our Board of Commissioners at the moment. Regarding the issue on the agenda, I'm in support of this, but I am not in support of having it during a regular meeting night. The reason being is us stakeholders are here tonight because it's a special meeting. But normally, we plan to be here on the first Thursday for a regular meeting of the Neighborhood Council. It is your regular scheduled meeting. If you want to have a presentation during the course of the meeting, before the business part of the meeting starts, after the business part of the meeting is done, that would be appropriate. But maybe it would be even more appropriate to schedule the town hall as the special meeting and just hold your regular meetings like normal.
Probably November 9th might be a good time. All right, so, Julie?
Yes, we had talked at a retreat about trying to do more topics of
Wait a minute,
life.
Julie, I'm sorry. Any other public comment? Okay, go ahead.
My water
Yeah, we
somewhere.
talked about how to get more people to attend our meetings, and I think this is one of the ways about having speakers or discussing topics that are relevant. So I'm in support of this idea. What I did know, Jeffrey, is that it just depends, are we gonna try to focus on, there's so many, are we just gonna try to focus on certain ones? Or does it depend what response we get?
Well, I think it's gonna depend a lot on what response. I've cast a wide net, thinking that it would be difficult to get people at that late stage, and I'm running into a lot of problems because each of these camps are inundated with places that have asked them to speak. So I'm like I said, I'm casting a wide net, and I'm going to let water reach its own level, and as they say no, 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 and pare it down, we're going to be left with what we are left with.
I have one thing, if you're gonna invoke it's 1-to-1, Dodgers and the Nationals, and no rallies.
Thank you. Okay, so, anyone opposed to this?
Was that
Board?
agenda? Oh, but I just, another thing I wanted to say.
Mark first, anyone opposed, and then,
No.
you have a question?
I have a question.
All right.
Well, actually, or a comment. The League of Women Voters has a whole program that they do, for the ballot issues. And if you want, I'd like to work with you, instead of working with them.
Oh, I welcome the help, sure.
Okay.
Mr. Raymond.
Well, I'm completely in favor of the concept, because I think it serves the better good of the community stakeholders to be aware of this. Just to clarify, this is not, this is not a forum to take a position as a board.
Right.
This is not a vote to take a position as a board. This is a vote to utilize the time during our next meeting to host a candidates forum for the betterment of the stakeholders.
Right.
To be informative.
Yeah, to inform stakeholders.
Okay, good, all right.
Yeah. Is that really intended?
I wanna know how he's gonna vote.
Very good, okay.
This could be
All
a
right,
split
any
vote.
other comment from the
This
board?
could be a
Yes,
split
Renee?
motion. They're doing okay.
Well, this is one of the things that we discussed at outreach in the first place. The only thing that I'm kind of regretting is we're not gonna be able to reach out that far ahead enough so that we can get the kind of attendance that we might be looking for. Had we known a little bit more time before, then we would have prepared and gotten outreach to get more people involved. But maybe we can do it on the next one. I'm all for this. Let's get started on what we have at the moment, and we'll do a better job next time.
All right, well, hold on. We've had 4 speakers in favor. Do we need any more? Okay. Bonnie and then Joel.
Okay, I really don't approve of it being that night, because I think that by the time the public comes here at night, their brains are pretty much mush, mine almost is. And we're talking about a lot of very complex propositions, and I would have rather see it on a Saturday or even a Sunday, where people can be fresher, where people aren't coming from work, and staying really late, because it's very complicated. And even, I don't know that, if you really give a full measure to each one of these measures of the pro and the con, this thing has to take hours, not just a few hours one evening.
Yeah. It depends on the number of people that we get, and we can limit the amount of time. Joel?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, are we also gonna cover the alphabetical propositions? Not just the number ones?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Whatever you can get.
Yeah.
All right, so, look, well, let's see if the motion passes. Anybody else speak? All right, not seeing anyone else that wants to speak, we'll take you want to do a roll call, Julie?
This makes my life easier.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Dave Schwartz.
Yes, I'm in favor.
Michael Benedetto.
In favor.
Jeffrey.
In favor.
Bonnie Burst. Against. What did you say?
Opposed.
Opposed, no. Julie, I say yes. Jeff?
Yes.
Don Graham?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Sally? Yes. Don Lucas? Yes. Darren?
Yes.
Joe Wild?
Definitely yes.
Who was that?
That was Joel.
Joel.
Yeah, Mark?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes.
Renee?
Aye.
Andrew?
Yes.
14?
Justin. Justin's
Justin's
left.
gone.
Never muted for the roll.
So 1401.
All right, thank you very much, Julie. If, we'll give you plenty of notice, board and public, if we put this together. Jeffrey's trying to put it together, and it'll depend on the number of responses we get and, how soon we can publicize it, obviously. We're gonna have to have a cutoff date at some point, so we're working on that. And Jeff, thank you for the idea for working on this. I really think it's a great idea. All right, F, motion to support North Valley YMCA Thanksgiving Dinner Project in the amount of $1,000. This is an annual event sponsored by the YMCA to furnish needy families in the North Valley with a traditional Thanksgiving holiday dinner. I so move. Is there a second? Seconded by Bonnie Burst. I'm going to give 2 minutes to Jane Norton from the YMCA to, I'm sorry, did I say Norton? Stanton?
Stanton.
Okay, it's getting late in the night. 2 minutes to explain what this is about. Jane?
Thank you very much, and thank you to the group. I really admire everything that you do and the effort that you put into helping Granada Hills. I also live in Granada Hills, so it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you. I want to talk about the YMCA Thanksgiving Basket Program. We've done it for 10 years. I gave you information, and it's a 4-pager to share with you what we are doing. It started 10 years ago with the Granada Hills Rotary giving us 50 baskets for our scholarship family. It has now grown over 10 years to be giving out 3,500 baskets to 35 schools and about 10 youth groups. And how do we do that? It's with donations from the community. Our budget is $40,000. We do fundraising to get to the $40,000. And what do we give to the families that are selected? We give them 3 different things. A bag of fresh produce donated by one of our board members, a bag of canned goods that represent a Thanksgiving basket, and it's listed. And then the third thing is a turkey, and some will take a certificate instead of a turkey. So how do you select, or how do you give away 3,500 baskets? So I will go to principal and I will say, last year you gave 50 away to your school. Do you want to do it again? And they'll say yes. I'll go to the next principal and they'll say, well, I gave 75, can I have 75? I say yes. And we tally, and over the 35 principals that we work with and the 10 youth groups, including PALS, they say, okay, this is the number we'd like. Then I say, okay, you have to select your 50. You know your school, you tell me the 50. You know your school, you tell me your 75. They're all due on let's say November 1st. Then we prepare them all, the baskets. So in your sheet, you'll say that we put the baskets together on a Saturday, the 12th to 13th. We give them out on the 14th and 15th, and we take it right to the school, and when the school is dismissed, we go off of the school list and hand it out to those that the principal selected. So it's really a project that has grown from 50 baskets to 250 to 1,000, and now we're at 3,500. It is a heartwarming project. Everybody can participate. The sheets here, we have people that have donated $5,000, and we have people that donate $40, which covers one basket. And you can go online and donate. You can send a check to the Y. You can call me at the line. You can take your information on the phone. But it's really heartwarming, and thank you so much for the schools in our community that you serve, will be served with baskets. And again, we work with the principals very closely in the community to raise the $40,000.
All right, any questions from the board to Jane before we open this public comment? Mark, I'll see you first. Go ahead.
How are, the unique thing with us neighboring councils is that we're basically, this money would be coming out of the amount of money from all the taxpayers of the city of Los Angeles that was set aside for the stakeholders of Granada Hills South. How is it that with this distribution, I'm sure there's a lot of families here in our footprint that would qualify to receive these baskets. How is that figured?
What we do is we talk to the principals, we raise the money, and this is how many we can give away.
What schools?
Yeah, that's what I wanted
Okay.
to know.
The proposal is with Darby, Granada, Patrick Henry, and Porter Middle School.
But those are in our neighborhood.
Those are in your area, and your $1,000 request would give us about 25 baskets. It doesn't cover the amount that we give. These groups will probably get over 100, but it's a gift to us to make sure it does happen.
Just want to make one correction. Darby's actually in North Ridge, but we have children from Granada Hills South area that attend that school. Yes, Julie?
If you get more money, will you give out more baskets?
Right, as soon as we get over the $40,000, I would be more than glad to give out more baskets, absolutely. We run out of money before we run out of needs.
Yes.
Joel?
You need volunteers to help you assemble the baskets.
I do, and so on the third sheet of the packet I gave you, you can select here when you would like to volunteer. And this is another, and thank you for bringing it up. I think volunteerism is absolutely enormously wonderful that you do it, that you give people the opportunity to do it. And so on here you can see that there's 4 different areas. Saturday baskets, Sunday baskets, and then actually giving them away on Monday and Tuesday. If you can help in any way, fill this out and get it back to the YMCA office. I really would appreciate you to not only enjoy, maybe even bring your children and grandchildren to see you role modeling volunteerism. I just think it's so important for our community.
So I was going to ask, as a 6th and 8th year old, every year planning on trying something different with students, volunteers, what could they do for this?
You bring them with you. We have that age children. And so they're gonna have a bag and we go around to the tables on the Saturday and we'll put the cans and the gravy and the different things and then we stack them. And you can come on Sunday, come on Sunday and you can help us put the oranges in the right bag or the potatoes in the right bag and the apples and et cetera. Or take the baskets and the bags. So they're cloth bags. We have 35 and 35, so I need 7,000 cloth bags so that we have enough to go around. We had marvelous support from many groups to get to the 7,000 every year that we need.
Thank you, Jane. Public comment on this. Mr. Kuzmin?
I kind of have a question to ask first,
Go
if
right
I
ahead.
may. I invited, as you saw tonight, a bunch of people that don't have street addresses to come and share their concerns with the board tonight. Is there going to be someplace available where some of these people that came here tonight can go and pick up a basket?
Yes.
I mean, and that's my question for you.
Okay, well, they are. We give about 125 baskets out at the YMCA on the Monday night. Call the YMCA, get their name on that list.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Kuzmin.
Now I would like to make the public comment.
All right, Ms. Kuzmin, you have public comment first.
Okay, thank you.
Waiting for the
Wayne from the Cinos next. Go ahead, Ms. Kuzmin, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, well, I'm just going to come up here.
Sure.
First of all, again, this is something that in general, how can I say that I cannot support? This is a good thing that we do for our community, and it's a great thing. But I do have procedural concerns because of this taxpayer money that's being given. I do want to know, the YMCA is not a well, they are nonprofit, are they not? Do we have an NPG available to review for this request? Because I believe that the DUN requirements require that you have an NPG before you act on a request. So I really don't want you to make a mistake here with that. Another thing that I'm looking at this and it says that one of the things on here is a $10 gift card to a grocery store. That's a cash giveaway. That could be problematic for this council with this motion. So I guess that the real big thing is without an MPG, I don't think you can really vote on it tonight.
I'll let the treasurer respond.
I did get an email with any of the workers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a copy in the back though?
No, there isn't.
Thank
You wanna
you.
do my
For
tax
the record,
return?
thank you.
I'll be more than happy to give you all the support I have.
No other comments, please. Wade from Encino, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a $10 gift card because in Encino, the Taste of Encino, I recommended that they give out gift cards at the event. And we were told at that meeting by people on the staff, you couldn't give out gift cards, which I thought was stupid. I thought that's it. I think we should be able to give out gift cards. So I wanted to clarify, because Encino takes the position, ENC, that you can't do it. I just want to make sure you guys are good with that. I don't see, but how come we just list which grocery store is it? Which, Ralph's, Vaughn's, which of these stores is it? Because when you multiply $10 times the amount of these baskets, you're getting $25, 25 baskets for $1,000 by 25 baskets. That's 25 $10 gift cards in those little baskets. That's a substantial pecuniary interest. Which grocery store is getting this money?
Okay, so I'll help you with that.
Good.
The baskets cost about $40. And we do can drives. So there are a number of groups in our community that do can drives. We also have them at the schools that we work with, and we also have them at the mall. So what cans we have, we put in there. What cans don't arrive to the 3,500, we do buy. And we will be buying them from Walmart.
Okay, so
And then also the turkeys will be from Walmart. So the majority of everything will be Walmart. There are some people that don't want a turkey and a gift card is their choice.
The final thing is, when you give the nonprofits, put in there $1,000 to go to purchase 25 baskets. So that way, your $1,000 isn't going to somebody's administrative cost to be flown to Sacramento on a 1-week junket to participate in studying nonprofit activities. So you want your money to go actually in to physically buy 25 of these baskets.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. All right, any other public comment? All right, seeing none. For the board, speaking in favor, first please. Renee?
I'm in favor, as a member of Outreach though. I was wondering if there's a way that the Granada Hills South Neighborhood Council gets some sort of recognition, because it's always whenever we give of our funds, we have to get something in return.
You will, and thank you for that. That's an excellent question. On every bag, we put a list of all the people that have donated 500 or more. On that bag, in a letter saying this was possible, not only by many people that gave, but these people in particular, and that goes on every bag. Number 2, we have a donor wall at the YMCA, and everybody that is at $1,000 over a community year gets their name on that donor wall. And your name is there from before, and it will certainly be there with this.
Thank you. Anyone else speaking in favor? Anyone speaking opposed? I think we're ready for a vote. Julie, can we do a roll call, please?
Dave?
Yes.
Benedetto? Fuller?
Yes.
Bert? Yes. Carson, yes. Dunlap?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Holstad? Yes. Lopez Don? Yes. Lopez Barrett?
Yes.
Lyle?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Schindelheim?
Yes.
Trinidad?
Yes.
And Andrew can't vote on?
Can't vote. 17.
Okay. 14? Yes. No no's, no abstention, 1 ineligible.
Okay. Thank you very much. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you very much. And say hi to Ed Norton for me when you go home. Good night, Jane.
Thanks so much.
I think there's some confusion. This generational confusion.
All right, let's go to G. A motion to participate in Granada Hills Recreation and Parks Hollywood Night. Halloween night.
Oh.
Hey,
call it Corey Bob if you want.
Proposal is to create a haunted house, cost not to exceed $800. Don Lopez asked this to be put on the agenda. I'll let her make the motion. Don?
I would like to make a motion to participate in the Garden Hills Recreation and Parks Halloween Night with a haunted house, which would not exceed the cost of $800.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Bohr. All right. Public comment on it. Mr. Kuzman.
You know, this is one of the things that I really love, and I really love the fact that they're doing a haunted house this year. I would like, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen them do the haunted house thing before. I'm used to seeing the next item on the agenda. But what I do know, because I'm perceiving this as the first time that the Parks and Rec is doing a haunted house, that this may not be enough money. So my question is, are there other neighborhood councils like Northridge or whomever contributing? Because this is Northridge Park, I believe. Oh, no, not okay. So I want to know, is, the North been asked for money? Are they contributing, or are we the sole contributors to help them with this? If we are, I would like to double this number, because I think they've underestimated, the thing grossly, which normally happens when you do things for the first time. So I'm all for a board member putting forth a motion. Well, let's not double it. So let's just say 1,500. And then up to, they'll tell us what they need. If we don't spend it, fine. But, this is a big deal. This is their first one. Let's help them make it successful. Because they always give this board recognition. And this is one of the things I love about this event, because this board gets more recognition out of that event than probably any other that they donate to during the course of any term.
Thank you, sir. You have a comment, sir?
Yep. Who are you? Okay, so, G&H, yes, I know this is the fun part of the agenda. So we have $800 on one item, $500 on the next item, so it's $1,300. So,
would you please confine your comments to this particular item, please?
Oh, okay. So somebody's spooked by my comments. So anyway, so it's very spooky. Yeah, it's very spooky to have that $500 separated from the 8. I don't think that you should be voting on these separately. It's $1,300. I don't know how you can build a house, a haunted house for $800. I just don't think it's possible. I mean, if any of you have been recently to Lowe's or anywhere, I mean, the cost of just the plywood alone would be $800. Then you have to get the laborers. And of course, you're not going to get union laborers. What about insurance? So when one of the kids steps in and one of the nails is up and they stub their little toe and then they get gangrene and they sue the city, we got to make sure they have insurance. Is the insurance covered by Rex and Park and Recreation? There's just stuff like that because somebody's just going to hammer this crap together and it's going to fall down and some little kiddie's going to stumble and break their little neck or cut their little leg. So just make sure that when you do this, it's enough money and that the insurance goes on the Department of Parks and Recreation, which I have good news, that they have a lot of money, the Department of Parks and Recreation. They gave my friend Michael Hunt $575,000 for throwing him out of a meeting. They got plenty of money, so if they got $575,000 to violate the Brown Act, they got insurance for this. So make it $1,300, or 8, 9, 10, $1,300 for the whole thing, just a haunted house. Screw the other thing. And let's get these spooky
Time is up, sir. Thank you very much for your comments. All right. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none. Don, do you have any further discussion with this? I'll call on you first.
I'd like to explain it's not a real house, so there's not going to be plywood or nails. There will be black plastic and tape. There will be easy ups, is what we use for the structure. I've done this at an elementary before, and it was a good one. I was donated a lot of props because I used to do a rescue, and the rescue had a fundraiser that was Halloween themed. So I have 2 sheds full of props. That's why I'm willing to do this, and it's not gonna take, shouldn't take more than $800. I did a Home Depot, I was putting together a list of some of the things I'm gonna need, and it came to about 500. That doesn't include, I need to get candy, some costumes, and some makeup. And then I would like to get us a banner to say it's our first one that we've ever done.
Yeah.
Or at least say that it's ours, whether we put first or not, because then we can reuse the banner and say it's ours every year. And another thing, I need volunteers from the community
There you go.
And yeah.
and the board. I need volunteers from everyone, but it's just me, and he works. It's on Mondays, Monday the 31st.
Right?
They're gonna put some good materials into this effort, like plywood.
It's really hard to say. But I kind of go with Mr. Kuzner on this. Thank you for clarifying that. You have a lot of props and things like that, but it is your first shot at it, and I don't necessarily say to bump it to 1,500 and give you carte blanche on it, but I think up to a little bit more on that, so that we want to put our support behind you. We want to make sure that this is a success. You may have done something that was exciting for elementary schools. We're going to have older people and adults there. Let's do it right.
We're making an amendment. We're gonna have to make an amendment, but before we do that, I'd like to, she made her cost analysis of all the things that she needs, and you're probably right, it's probably gonna cost a little bit more than that. Also, we've been working with Juan, the director at the park.
Yeah.
And actually, we had it cleared by the fire department. We're gonna hold it, it's actually gonna be our booth, instead of having the booth outside. Okay, we're gonna have the dance room. Okay, so you're gonna enter into the rec center, and then you're gonna enter into the haunted house, into the dance area, to get the dance room. And that's gonna be all decorated out, and just, zombies, fog, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's really good at it. The most important thing is volunteers.
Can we get that tango people?
So, I think it would be a huge hit.
Still okay.
Batteries. Okay, anyone opposed? Anyone? Julie?
No, I'm not opposed, I just wanted to know for Don, it's
There's a
$800
financial item,
enough,
no
and
roll
it sounds like you're saying more important is our people to help you. More
see
than
if
money, or do
Julie
you
can
need
More
volunteer.
than money, I need people to help me.
Yes.
The $800 will probably be just enough.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to amend the,
Motion to amend is in order at any time.
all right, then I'm making a motion to amend not to
We'll then do
exceed
the roll call. Put it on the
Well,
thing.
For a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Morris. You have that, Julie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Discussion on the amendment, and since it is an amendment, I'll open it for public comment.
Oh.
Mr. Kuzma?
Well, I really don't get how one time when I wanted to comment on an amendment, I couldn't do it, and now I get to,
Because
so
the motion-
hopefully someday I'll
the motion to
understand.
table-
I support the motion.
Thank you. Different situation. Sir?
Yeah, so if they support the increase, then get rid of H. So you put that money into just the haunted house.
It's a different thing.
It's
It's a different thing.
Sir. Thank you for your
It's
comment.
a separate event.
Bonnie?
And actually, that was
No,
my
they're two
concern,
separate
is
events.
that we do have another motion coming up for the same reason, and that's $500, and I
But
would.
that's for a different purpose, actually.
Yes, but it's part of the same event.
It's what they used to ask,
And,
and we always gave it to them.
since they've already done their cost analysis for the 800, and they're trying very hard to do it in accordance with what is good for Granada Hills Recreation Parks, I just, sort of feel
Well,
that.
let me just say, I separated the motions because it is for two different purposes. And I did not want to fuzz this up as far as one motion, and then some of it's for the haunted house, and some of it's for decorations for candy, you know, in the main event and so on. So I thought it would be best for clarity's sake to make two separate motions on the agenda. Mr. Morris?
I think the important word is, or two words, is up to $1,200. Because it's terrific how you know, did the math to make sure, but I think it, you know, we owe it to the community, you know, to make sure that we're gonna.
Okay. Anybody opposed? All right, seeing no opposition, we're gonna take a roll call vote on the amendment. Okay? Go ahead, Julie.
All right, Obey,
Yes.
Benedetto,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
First,
Yes.
Carson, yes. Dunlap,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Colstad,
Yes.
Lopez Don,
Yes.
all right, Lopez Darren,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Schindelheim,
Yes.
Trinidad,
Yes.
and Long is a no.
Yes.
So that should be 14.
You get that, David?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, so now a vote on the main motion as amended. The motion remains the same except for the amount, which is now $1,200. Again, a roll call vote on the main motion.
Obey,
Yes.
Benedetto,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Birch,
Yes.
Carson, yes. Dunlap,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Colstad, yes. Don, Lopez,
Yes.
Darren,
Yes.
Lyle,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Schindelheim,
Yes.
Trinidad,
Yes.
14 ayes, 0 noes, 0 abstentions, 1 ineligible. Motion passes.
Right.
Cool. Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Bring the chair to Mr. Benedetto while I eat a sandwich.
Next item on the agenda is item H, motion to support Granada Hills Recreation and Parks Halloween Night not to exceed $500. These funds are going to go to funds towards the decoration and the trees for participants. Is there a second? A second.
Who's moving it, you?
Oh, yes. I'll second.
Was that Darren seconded?
Yes.
Thank you.
Evelyn, could you give us a little synopsis?
Hi everybody, thanks for having me today. I'm here on behalf of Granada Hills Rec Center. I'm very excited we're having our first Gold Haunted House before, but not sponsored by me, so I'm really excited for that. I am happy to be here. I'm representing our director Juan Aynat, and he's been with us for a few months now. And so far so good, we're really happy with the way things are going. I do have just a few flyers, hopefully you guys can share. I'll pass down 3 this way, and 3 up here.
What's this about?
And I just want to kind of explain, you know, what we do for our Halloween event. I've been working with Granada Hills Rec Center for almost 8 years now, and we've been doing the Halloween event for 7 years. And it's really fun. It's a good turnout every year. I get to be MC, and I get to do a costume contest with the kids, and you know, everybody dresses up and they come in, and I do face painting MC. I'm running around the whole night, so I mean, we always have staff there, but we are almost always understaffed, I feel like, for the event. So we are trying to, we always hire enough staff that we need, and we do have volunteers, but we always use more volunteers. And I'm here to ask for funding. It is a free community event. We usually expect about 200 to 400 kids and families to come out, individuals, 200 to 400 individuals to come out. We do games and prizes. Everything is free. We do have food at a nominal cost. That's the only thing that will be sold at the event. Everything else is completely free, so face painting, games, prizes, costume contest, crafts, pumpkin patch, which we are having trouble getting pumpkins donated to us this year, so we might have to buy them all, along with the hay. And
Oh,
usually
no,
we'll do like a
William will make
little
two phone
setup,
calls and have
with
a
a
shitload of
picture
pumpkins.
area where the kids can go and take photos there. And we do want to give away those pumpkins by the end of the night, so we are hoping to get, I want to say anywhere from 100 to 150 pumpkins, and that way we can give them away to families at the end of the night, during the night as well. And we will have the full gym decorated. We do already have staff working. Probably it's been 3 weeks already that we have staff working on decoration. So it is gonna, we do have to consider the cost of staff for the day of, and prepping for the Halloween event. And we've got our artists who are hard at work right now on the decorations. We have one artist who is hand painting everything. For the last about 3 or 4 Halloweens, she has hand painted everything, so it's a lot of hard work, and all the wall art that you guys will see is all hand painted by hers. She's really good. And we are doing this year a little trick-or-treat village. So we have staff building, they are using plywood, it's gonna be very safe, they're standing everything, no splinters. But they're gonna be making makeshift, like a little door to knock on. There's gonna be 3 little house-looking things in the trick-or-treat village. So the kids are gonna go knock one by one and get some candy. And we will be buying, so far, I have spent, I usually do the grocery shopping for the park as well. The sheriff and the judge and everything at Granada Hills, I tried. But I've done already over $100 to $150 worth of candy shopping, and that's nowhere near enough what we need. That's only 1 week of my shopping, so I'm going to be buying candy each week up until the week of Halloween. And again, the staff coverage, our little village. So I did read the agenda, I did say 500. I would like to request more than that. We, on behalf of my director, we would like to request 1,000. But of course.
Sorry, say that last thing again. You'd like to what?
We would like to request 1,000 for our Halloween event. Yeah, and we went over everything.
Thank you, Evelyn. Public comment on item H?
Yay!
Richard?
This has already been advertised in the October issue of Overnight Hills Residency event. So we already got publicity.
Richard. Other, William?
This is for the $500. We usually do this every year. I don't know though about last year because I think I asked to increase it, and I think the board actually did increase the amount that they're going to give. But in light of the fact that we're doing the donation for the haunted house, I'm just going to say I support the $500 donation for sure, because that's the normal amount we had given to them in the prior years before. I think maybe last year when we gave them a little bit more. On another note, please put me in contact with whoever it is that you're trying to get pumpkins from. I think I can solve your problem.
Awesome.
Give me a number before you leave. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
No, so,
Casino?
yeah, so anyway, if you want to get hay, go up to Pearl Blossom, Little Rock, you know where that is?
No, I don't, but I'll go.
It's all 114.
Yeah, you just go up, like, everybody goes, cuts through Vegas to go that way.
Okay.
You know, so they got a guy there with a huge load of hay, you can't get rid of it. So just, the problem is you gotta truck it. Volunteers with trucks. So anyway, but see, we're already building this wonderful house, and you already have a village. So that's what I'm saying, when you start combining these items, you see now, she's gonna want $1,000. How are you gonna say no? Kids and pumpkins and I mean, you know, if you vote and don't give her the 1,000, now you people are all gonna vote for Trump the next time. You know? So that's the problem. So in the future, combine them together, you know, because now you guys are stuck. You're gonna have to give her the 1,000 because, you know, if not, you're gonna be voting for Trump. So you gotta give her the 1,000, or you gotta put Trump for president on your line. That's the way it goes. You know?
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, switching to the board, those in favor of this?
Comments in favor.
Comment. That's what I'm saying.
Raising your hand.
have to make a motion with whatever.
I have questions. Can I ask you a question?
Sure. I was busy with the council.
These flyers, I love to see, printed them up, and I see our logo on them. How are they being distributed?
We are distributing them to schools as of now. We have them in stacks in boxes that we're distributing to schools nearby. Some of those are Mayo, Tulsa, Granada, and I believe there's a couple others that I just can't think of right now. But those are the three that we pick up for our after school program. So today I was actually with after school and I was able to drop off some flyers over to the school. Yes.
Yeah, there's two big events that come up in October. One is the, we never movie night. So there's three. We never movie night. We have our Spanish forum, and there's the 1 year anniversary of the basketball out in Porter Ranch. And that would be a great opportunity to distribute these. So how can I get more? How can I get
I can talk to my director. We have them printed. I don't know if we're going to be printing anymore. We do have boxes in the office right now. So we're getting
How much time left?
It's all right now.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys are doing.
Did you deliver any to the Powell Center? The Devonshire Powell Center over at.
Do you want me to?
I would just do another
I
outlet.
don't think we did. I think right now we're just using elementary schools that we pick up them for school program.
I mean, that's,
talk to one tomorrow, see if I can get, and then, you know,
okay. I mean, yeah, you just walk up the street to the station, give it to the front desk, and then they can take them over to the station.
That's all you gotta do.
we have them just nearby at our facility. I don't know of any that they've distributed.
We can help
Oh, we can help.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You've
great.
got 2 dance studios up on Chatsworth that tailor the kids.
Yeah, wherever we
The
can.
kids go to karate
wherever
on
we
the
can,
street,
yeah.
they always have kids classes and that stuff.
We don't even have to do it for kids, you can just put them in.
And give it to all
every
the-
business. And,
Right.
you know,
Well,
as
why
they're
did-
doing business, they can do a job.
Okay, let's move along. Any comments opposed?
I didn't have a chance to say whether I was commenting on in opposition or for. Just a little uncomfortable. You saw, I was the one who made the motion, thank you, to bump the haunted house up. So it's not like, I'm stingy with money or anything. I'd like to feel a little bit more comfortable with bumping this up. I mean, the how, the why. You've been getting 500. 500 is what you asked for. I'd like to feel better about the justification of the bump.
Okay, I did ask for 1,000, and then I was told that that they would do up to 500. So I did originally ask for 5,000 on behalf of one. I'm sorry, 1,000. Sorry about that. Not 5,000. 1,000. And I was
It says
told that
500.
was what we could do up to. So I thought I'd bring it up again and see.
Okay, any other board comments in favor of this motion? Were you gonna amend this, or just point of information?
Oh, there was a mention on the floor to amend this.
Well,
There's no motion.
We'd like to,
We'd like to
bump it up to
800, which would make it an even 2,000 for the entire project.
I would second that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, somebody make the motion officially.
Joel did.
Joel,
I made a motion.
making a motion
For 800.
Bump this up to 800.
Right.
I feel like I'm.
Yes.
My understanding is that Mike Benedetto already made a motion and Darren Lopez seconded it.
This is an amended motion.
So this is a motion to amend.
Thank you.
So the motion to amend is Lyle and Laura, right?
Right.
Talking about the 800.
Maybe.
Those, since it's an amendment, we don't need to do public comment. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we should.
Public comment on the
800.
amendment to 800.
Apparently, it's real simple. I'm just going to reiterate, 500's always been enough for what they need. I believe last year you didn't even spend the whole amount that we gave, and we only had to pay what it really cost. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but The motion at 500 is sufficient. We already, and we're giving our money to the haunted house, the big event. The candy amount, that's set. They know how much it costs. That's why this says $500.
Any other public comment?
Well, okay, so you learned your lesson, that's why I would bring it up to G and the H, you gotta put them together, because, so $800 versus $1,000, so just remember, if you don't give it $1,000, you know what's gonna happen, all right? Trump, so now I know Trump's gonna win, because we're gonna limit it to $500. No Trump, $500.
Okay, any board comment on the amendment?
Yes, I think it's.
It's awesome.
Any board comment opposed?
Not an opposition, but I just want to float this idea. That Since the first motion that we passed for G was amended to up to 12, but the cost figures came in at 8, but maybe slightly higher. And there is some discrepancy about, or that gives us some wiggle room about the level of support. As much as it pains me, perhaps there is some merit to combining the two motions and committing 800 to, up to 800 to the event, up to 1,200 to this event, with the ability that if this comes in under budget, that we can give the remainder to Granada Hills for the.
Would you like to make an amendment for the amendment?
Did anybody understand what I said?
Yeah, they don't understand.
Maybe I don't.
I got it.
Okay, good. If you got it,
You
then.
wanna roll it over, but that's.
Yes, I just want to make the funds available so that we'll commit $2,000 to $2,000 to support the event, with 1,200 earmarked for the haunted house, 800 earmarked for.
So they can push more. They say
Well, they can't do that now because they already passed the last motion.
But they can reconsider. But they can reconsider the other prior item.
They could.
Yeah.
I think we'll take the amendment for the board.
Okay, so,
Sure,
two things. First of all, you have to rescind the amendment before your. Yeah.
That's right.
It have to be reconsidered, according to Robert's rules of order. And parliamentary and I agree on that, so.
So do I.
I think at this point, we've been at this almost 2 hours. Let's make a decision, whether it's 800 or 500. We still have, we're still gonna be in April looking at some money that we haven't spent. That's how it happens every year. So if you have, money available now, these are our big ticket items in the fall. Movie night, Halloween night, that kind of thing. As we get to January, March, we don't have those big events. So if you're going to spend money on outreach at big events, this is the time to do it. And it's all.
All right, let's have the vote on the amendment to raise this motion to $800, up to $800. Those in favor of the amendment?
Roll call.
Okay.
So this is for the amendment to,
Bump to up to 800.
yes, up to 800. Bouvet,
Yes.
Benedetto,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Bruce, yes, Carson, yes, yes, 0 no, 1 abstention, and 1 no.
Now, can we have a roll call vote on the original amended?
The amendment of.
Yeah.
making it the original.
Read it first.
Public comment?
No, just asking for a reread on the motion as amended.
Call for the question.
Okay. Board comment? Seeing none? Let's, roll call.
Voting, Bouvet,
Yes.
Benedetto,
Yes.
Ford,
Kathy.
No.
Bruce,
Yes.
Carson? Yes. Dunlap?
Abstain.
Graham?
Yes.
Colstat? Yes. Lopez John?
Yes.
Lopez Darren?
Yes.
Lyle?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Schindelheim?
Yes.
Trinidad?
Yes.
So that's 12 yes, 1 no, 2 abstaining, 1
Okay, so that motion
in.
is passed. And I am going to give the chair back to Dave.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Evelyn. All right, so we're coming to the last item on the board issues. This is a motion to support the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council position regarding reopening of the Aliso Canyon gas storage facility. We have pro and con here tonight. Mark, I'm going to allow you to make the motion since you asked that this be put on the agenda.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to move that we support the Ranch Neighborhood Council in their position regarding the reopening of the Aliso Canyon gas storage facility.
Thank you. All right, so what we're going to do before we open this for public comment, I'm going to call on, I'm sorry, second? Seconded by Mr. Trinidad. We have representatives from both sides on this, so we're going to give each side up to 5 minutes to speak. Then going to allow questions from the public and then questions from the boards. Then going to allow public comment and then board discussion. So, Alexander, I'm going to call on you first. Introduce yourself, please, and you have up to 5 minutes to speak, to explain the motion.
Excuse me, Mr. Bouvet, just
Yes.
if I may, Sally's left the room. Could you make a note for the record?
Thank you. Ms. Colstad is, I think, controversial.
I don't like the way it's inappropriate.
She's like, what, like,
Do you mean the room or the restroom? The restroom, it's like when I came in, I don't think it's great that people are talking about, when we're using the restroom.
I apologize.
No, I'm not mad at you, Dave, I just think, I don't wanna be like, oh, Jet went to the restroom 3 times, just well, I like being tracked for that.
All right, can we move on? Go ahead.
Sorry.
Hey everyone, my name is Alex Danke. I'm the senior organizer with Food and Water Watch. Food and Water Watch is a national nonprofit. We have an office here in LA, and we work with communities all across the country on fracking issues, on water issues, food issues. I was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley. My mom lives in Chelsea, my dad and my children now. And my family was in the 5-mile relocation zone for the gas blowout that happened from October 23rd to February 11th of this year. And that gas leak lasted for 110 days, displaced 15,000 people or 8,000 families, and continues to wreak havoc on our community here. You may know that the gas storage facility is closed. It's been closed since January. There's a moratorium bill that was passed as an actual emergency moratorium bill by Senator Fran Pobley called SB 380, which required that facility to be shut down until it can be fully inspected by safety tests. And since that facility has been shut down since January, we haven't needed it. It hasn't been used, no gas in or out at all. So why is that? State agencies through this disaster have been cooperating and working together to essentially readjust the way the gas system operates, the way the grid operates, to eliminate the need for Aliso Canyon. One of these rule changes that was the most effective was going from monthly balancing to daily balancing on the grid. And what that means is, as DWP being a customer of SoCalGas, I would look the month ahead and say, this is how much gas I need to pull in on the system, because most of the gas, 90% of the gas we use comes from out of state through pipelines. So I would look for, if it's July, the month ahead to August, and say, this is how much gas I need to bring into the system. If there's a day or a period of the day where that supply and demand is mismatched, I can draw on Aliso Canyon and use that facility. Now what they're doing is daily balancing. This is something that was done before in California before deregulation. And this is how other states like Nevada and Arizona operate their gas system with 0 gas storage facilities. And so this one change to the system, as industry experts say, was kind of one of the quickest fix that we needed to avoid the 14 days of blackouts that you may have heard about, but had no truth to it at all. So with this facility being closed down, we haven't needed it. And actually the trend in California is that we're reducing our gas needs in terms of what we're burning. This summer alone, the city of LA has put 350 megawatts of solar on the grid, and across California, our gas use has declined by 20%. So why is this? Because we've put forward policies on climate and clean energy goals that we are rapidly advancing towards. So more and more gas use is not becoming what we're depending on. I wanted to also say that this facility still has a lot of problems. Even though it's been closed down, there have been 4 major leaks at the facility since the blowout was cast. And we know from testimony under oath by SoCalGas's operators that this facility leaks on average 2 times a day. And according to the EPA, this is their 4th most polluting natural gas storage facility in the country. So even in normal operations, this is a polluter. It's impacting people's lives. And with every leak that has been major, that has had to be reported, and also with just kind of the daily spikes you see of methane, people are still getting very sick. They're still going to the emergency room. They're still going to ER. They're still struggling. And you know, with not needing this facility, with it still causing health problems, it's clearly a big polluter. We need to keep this facility closed down. And you know, I'm kind of summarizing the arguments that the Port Orange Neighborhood Council put together, and you can see that there. But the other thing that this costs, aside from obvious health and environmental costs, is this facility costs $40 million a year to ratepayers to operate. And if SoCalGas gets to reopen, they're trying to do a turbine replacement project up there so they can put more gas in that facility. That will be up to $70 million a year total to our ratepayer dollar. So given the trend of we're getting off of fossil fuels for our energy needs and moving towards renewable energy, why would we continue to sink ratepayer money into these essentially stranded assets, which we are and will become? So right now with SB 380 that I mentioned that kept a moratorium on gas injections until the facility can be inspected, right now we're facing a situation where the gas company is getting very close to finishing all those inspections. Instead of having to look at every single well, they were actually given an option of retiring some of the wells and continuing with the inspections for others. So they've set aside 77 wells of the remaining 114 wells up there so they can rush to reopen this facility. They were given a year to do full inspections on those. In the meantime, they're retiring those. That's 67% of the wells up there. And they have 27 that have passed all checks, and they're waiting to get approval on 9 more. So we're really coming under the wire here where they're going to start pushing to reopen this facility. We don't need it. It's still a major problem for our environment and our local communities and their health. And this letter is going to Governor Brown and all of his important state agencies and regulators to call on them to please keep this facility closed to protect public health.
Alexandra, thank you. I gave you a little over 5 minutes, and I'm going to give.
Can I have a point of clarification on the motion?
Yes.
It says motion to support Porter Ranch's position regarding the reopening, but I don't know what that position is.
So the position is to keep the facility closed and to eventually retire it.
I'll read the end of the resolution from Porter Ranch for the board and for the public. Therefore, we, the people of Porter Ranch, in order to preserve our quality of life and protect our health and health of our children, ask for your assistance and the assistance of all state and local government agencies to secure the permanent shutdown of Aliso Canyon gas storage and processing facility. So with that, thank you very much, Alex. I'm going to allow 6 minutes for the gas company representatives to give their presentation since we ran a little over here. When I introduce you ladies, we have Julia Emerson, that's you in the blue, correct? And Marisol Espinoza. Ladies, you have 6 minutes, up to 6 minutes. Do we have a question, Jeff?
I had a question. Is there a reason I couldn't ask, or anyone couldn't ask Alexander a question?
Well, I'd like to get both sides in, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. First from the public, then from the board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, ladies.
Thank you very much. I am Julia Emerson. I'm with the Southern California Gas Company. I'm Public Affairs Manager. I want to thank thank you for inviting us here tonight, because this isn't an easy topic. We know that. We know that this has been, you know, we know, we get that. There were an awful lot of points that were brought up by the very nice representative. I'm not going to try and touch on them all. I will say that the Aliso Canyon Storage Field has been in use for a long, long time. It has been very necessary for being able to get the spikes in the need for electricity, for, as you know, probably know, more than half of the electricity in the Los Angeles basin is generated with natural gas, 61% to 75%, depending on the season. So when the lights are on, it's natural gas that's lighting these lights. We too want to go to renewables. We're doing more of that. We're putting a lot of money into research. We think that that's going to be happening over a long period of time. In the meantime, right now, electricity is generated largely with natural gas here. We were blessed because this summer we had a mild summer. We were lucky. There was also conservation. That's been part of it. But the fact is, if there's a spike in the heat or in the winter when the cold snaps come, our other representative was talking about, well, then we just can bring in the gas from out of state. When you're bringing in gas from Oklahoma and Texas and some of those states at 5 miles an hour, which is how fast it goes, you can't get enough gas here to feed all the power plants in a day. It can't be done. That's why Aliso Canyon Storage Field is useful for getting behind and getting ahead of those spikes in the heat or the cold when people turn on the air conditioning and they turn on the furnaces. I hope that's a little bit helpful. To talk more about some of the testing and some of the details of how we'd like to bring it back online, I'd like to introduce Mary Soul. Because it's Marisol Espinosa, with a Z, and just so I can say one last thing, that we do want to open the storage field again, but only after complying with the rigorous testing requirements. Marisol.
So, wanted to just talk a little bit about the process. And some of you may be receiving our updates or aware of the well inspection process. There are 8 different tests that the wells are each going through right now. There's 3 phases. The first of which is the noise and temperature test, which will detect if there's any anomalies in that well. Second phase is a battery of 6 tests that sort of mirror a lot like inline inspection, where we're looking at the integrity of each well, the casing. We will have a workover rig that will come, that we'll put on the well so that we can work each well. And so right now, we have tested or completed certification by the Division of Oil and Gas and Geothermal Resources. 27 wells have passed those, have been certified as complete. 29 we have completed and that we have submitted to Dogger.
That's that state agency.
Yeah. So if a well, if there was an anomaly that was found, or we also did prioritize wells based on the operation, it was abandoned or taken out of service and will be repaired within the next 12 months. So we do care about safety. We do not want to operate the field if it's not safe. I think that is a given, and we are doing everything we can to cooperate with regulators and to work with them, and also to communicate and talk to the community about what has been happening at the field. So we're just really trying to, I think that's really, safety is a priority. It actually always has been a priority for our company, and we're working on moving forward so that we can get the field back online safely.
We're happy to be available to answer any questions or if other information needs to be sought.
Thank you, ladies. Alex, I'm gonna ask you if you would just stand over here. We're gonna open this up first.
We can even stand together, that'd be all right.
That's fine. Well, I don't want fisticuffs breaking
I
out.
have some information.
Yeah.
We can,
Thank you.
there's some fact sheets.
I'm gonna ask first of all
We may
for,
not be perfect, but we don't bite.
I'm gonna ask first of all for any questions from the public. To, first of all, Alex, and then to gas company. Sir, do you have
Can I-
questions for the gas company? Go ahead.
So you say that, what do you, have you actually, are you just putting like a Band-Aid on this whole thing, repairing it? Or are you actually replacing and making it new? Or are you just utilizing the same old facility and just testing it?
I think a fair statement would be it's a combination of everything. Where something's not passing a test, obviously, it's going to be either abandoned or replaced.
So you're using the
I
same
think
facility?
over the long period of time, there'll be a lot of different answers to that depending on the well. Depending on, there's not a single answer because it's a very complicated system.
But the 6 additional tests are new, so those 6 additional tests that are part of
Why
phase
wouldn't they
2.
just replace the whole
Well,
thing?
let her finish. Go ahead.
I mean, what it is, it's looking at the integrity of the well, and if there is an issue, it's
Well, obviously,
being
they're
repaired.
70 years old.
Not all of them, some are
The
doing it.
issue is the integrity of them is poor. That's why this thing happened to begin with.
Sir,
Well,
you've asked your question. I'll let you
Yeah.
respond to that, ladies, and then we'll move on.
and I want to comment on the root cause analysis that's still underway. So we don't know what the cause is as of right now. So that is a third-party investigation that is being conducted by the CPUC.
That's the
And,
Public Utilities Commission, the
Yes.
state agency.
and so
You probably know that, but I don't like to use alphabetical.
So, I'm not gonna speculate or say what the cause is. All I know is that we're inspecting the wells at the facility and we're doing batteries of tests that are required. So it's pretty intensive.
All right, any other questions for either party? Yes, sir. You can ask from there.
How much did last year and how much have you spent in lobbying in Sacramento and the city council of Los Angeles in the past 12 months?
I do not know, but there are public records available through the Public Utilities Commission. I don't happen to know the number.
Any questions specific to what we're talking about?
Well,
Well, sir, you've already asked the question. Now, let me open it up for anyone else. And there's going to be an opportunity for public comment as well in a moment. Okay.
I actually have 3 questions.
Oh, wait, I haven't opened up to the board yet.
Okay.
Hang on. Anything else from the public? All right, so, opening up questions from the board, and we'll go back for public comment before we're done. Go ahead, Michael.
I have 3 questions. You talked about the Public Utilities Commission inspecting this. Wasn't there also supposed to be an independent inspection?
Are you talking about the
of
root
the
cause
wells?
analysis?
Yeah.
The root cause analysis is a third party. It's a third party that is conducting the root cause analysis in cooperation with the CPUC and the gas company and Dodger.
So they have brought in, independent people have been brought in, so everyone, is contributing, I guess I would say.
Margaret, sorry, I have 2 more. As we know, these wells were originally there in the 1950s.
And many of them are, yes.
Right. And we also realized that the safety valves were taken out in the 80s. Have those been replaced? Okay.
You know more about the valves than I
Yeah, so the safety valve is, I guess I'm not really sure.
Well, I know a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
okay.
On a well, there's something called a Christmas tree at the top, for any of you who know about. Okay, if I'm going too much, just stop.
It's a holiday tree.
Holiday tree. What it is, it's a set of valves. At the top of every well is a set of valves. And those can be turned on or off depending on the speed. And when you have a whole field like this, of course, they're interconnected with pipes and so forth. There's different sets of valves, yes. There were some valves that were taken out, but they weren't the only safety valves. The way it was written up in the media, it looked as though those were the only safety valves, but that was not true. There are safety valves on every single well. Every system there has generally multiple safety valves.
Well, if that was the case.
But there
why would
was
it
a
take
set of valves that was taken out.
Why would it take 110 days to close that safety valve?
And I think in this particular case, the safety valve, as you probably read about, was.
This wasn't a case of a valve that failed. It had nothing to do with the valve. And frankly, if those valves had been there, the type that you're talking about from the 80s, that wouldn't have solved this particular problem. Because the gas was not coming out the top of the pipe.
Okay, my last question is, we know that methane is cancerous and whatnot. However, I think the real problem was with regards to mercaptans, in that that's what made it.
The methyl mercaptans, the
Right.
odorant that's put in.
Correct. And that's the substance that fell over and blanketed everything, which caused some real problems as far as carcinogens. Have we found a substitute for that element?
There is more than one type of odorant that can be used for natural gas. Methyl mercaptan is one of them, and there are a couple, most of them are mercaptan families. I'm not a chemist, so I'm not going to address each of the different ones. Different ones have slightly different smells, they have slightly different properties. You know, if they were to change the odorant, that's a whole different question from whether or not the field should be open. That certainly is something that could be addressed separately.
Okay, I'm gonna take Mark first, then Jeffrey, then Don.
Hi, just a couple of questions. Number one, the facility was not, you know, where you're saying that the gas is used as kind of like this is a storage facility. It's not a transport facility. Is what you call it.
It's not.
Yeah, and this what you're saying about, you know, I understand electricity is generated by natural gas and all that, but what you're saying about how it's kind of skimmed off the top and used if other people need it, type of thing, I didn't really quite understand why you even brought up. Why you brought up. I know it was great learning that natural gas is used for electricity, but my understanding is none of the natural gas from the Aliso County facility is used for that. And if it is, was that the reason for that facility when it was originally built? Or was it
I wasn't
originally
around
built
in
as-
the 40s or 80s, so I couldn't tell you about the
Okay, right, because my understanding, and our Congressman Brad Sherman even told me this, is that that facility is basically there to store gas for market pricing and stuff like that.
That's a
for
big
replacing-
part of what it's for.
Right, yeah, because there's a big place on Wilshire and downtown.
But it's definitely used
So
for
they-
electrical generation.
Exactly, but it's mostly there for storage to resell the gas.
All natural gas is to be resold, so I'm not sure.
And why is it leaking now? It's not pressurized.
They're about 15 BCF in there.
Right, but I've seen
Billion cubic
because there is an app where you can actually see, or a website where you can see the spikes, and there have been spikes flowing from north to south, which is really good.
Well, is that a question?
Yeah, well,
Is
my
that when
question
you're calling
is,
membership?
yeah, it's right.
Oh,
My
but
question
then we
is,
should talk about the methane.
my question is
Okay.
that why is, if it's not 100% pressurized now, my question is when it becomes 100% pressurized, how can we make sure that we're not going to be having?
Then, I think you have something to do.
So I think the one other thing I wanted to mention
That
was
goes right to
one of the operational enhancements is that we are installing methane monitors around the facility. So we are gonna have 8 different monitors that are going to be able to detect if there is a leak or an emission. And then once those are installed, we're actually gonna have people, staff that are gonna be operating 24/7 to look at that and monitor.
So you are expecting.
We don't, I think it's an enhancement that.
I mean, why not add another safety system?
Can we move on, Mark? We've got lots of other questions. Jeffrey?
Yeah, my first question is to Alex here. And I'm going to preface this. I'm looking at your actual, what your resolution is.
I'm not
Okay.
The resolution is from Porter Ranch.
All right. Do you happen to know why you brought this to us and you're asking for our support? And I'm looking at this, and the Porter Ranch is to protect our health and the health of our children. Is there a reason that they didn't put anything in, and for the health and safety of surrounding communities? Why was it so insular?
That's a really good question. I don't have an answer to you on that. I know in our organizing, with Food and Water Watch, and we've been working with another community group called Save Porter Ranch. We've been actually going door to door in the entire 5-mile relocation zone. We're trying to get it out of being just pigeonholed to Porter Ranch issues, the Valley issues, and LA issue. But that's a really good point. I actually didn't catch that. I'd be happy to take that back to them and ask them to amend it. This is not something they've actually voted on yet. This is what you're looking at as a draft. So that can be changed.
Thank you. And my next question, of course, is the lady. Let me get this straight. You don't know the causation. You've been less than forthright, and you've denied that there was a problem all the way through every step of the way until you were disproved, and then you double down, only to be disproved again. You deny and continue to deny that you've caused any injury to anyone whatsoever in the environment. The area is still leaking. My 2 questions are, don't you think it's premature, with all this in mind, to be talking about reopening? And the second question is, why on earth would we trust you?
We understand, we have been out at the Porter Ranch Community Center, we've talked to customers who've been impacted, we know, and we have, our company, our CEO has apologized for what happened. And so I think what we're doing is we're inspecting the wells, we are, making sure that it's safe. We are installing methane monitors, we have we're providing resources to the community, and we're here. I think that's, I understand, I get it, I understand where you're coming from.
No, that's not an answer. I'm not going to let that go by. Hold on. You're providing services to the community for what? If we're not injured, why are you providing services to our community? Did you not have things also, any safety protocols in place, and then you deny and deny and deny? You're not giving me an answer. Why should we trust you?
Sir, I know you're an attorney, and I'm not.
No. I'm a director here of
And
rules
you're a
and
director of
bylaws.
this
I'm a
organization.
member. I'm not an attorney here. I'm a stakeholder who has children here and who is asking you why we should trust you from here on in. It seems absolutely premature. Attorney has nothing to do with it. Talk to me like I'm a stakeholder.
Oh, you are a stakeholder, sir, okay. I know that this has been difficult for everybody. We were not prepared where we should have been. Whether it's public relations or anything else you want to talk about. Because there are lawsuits in place, there are certain aspects I'm not supposed to do. And I just have to stay away from certain topics and let that be handled by the experts in those areas. That's not the answer you want to hear. I get that. But I'm trying to do the best I can to give you what I know and to say it absolutely accurately based on the information.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Don, and then Darren.
Thank you. So my first question, you told us about the statistics of the additional solar wattage. But that's only 1 year's worth of statistics. Is that an anomalous spike in our move towards getting away from fossil fuels?
No, actually, what I cited was 250 megawatts CWP over the summer. There's another 500 planned in the next year. And in fact, DWP has been fast tracking the renewable energy goals. Statewide, we're supposed to hit 33% by 2020, 50% renewable energy by 2030. And LA right now is at 70%. So there's a lot of enthusiasm, conversation, and energy pushing us towards.
Okay, so this is certainly an update training.
Yes.
So that kind of goes to my first question for you, ma'am. You mentioned that you understand that that the city wants to move towards renewables, the gas company supports that, you're moving towards renewables. What does that mean?
Well, for example, a lot of landfills around here, around the entire southern
Substantial
California
evidence, please.
area, the methane that's naturally created by those landfills is just going to atmosphere. And you can see on the air quality management district maps where in certain areas, especially the smaller landfills, they're not capturing that methane. The very first landfill that ever captured methane was down in Orange County. It's the Bowerman landfill. There's your trivia for today. So we're looking at ways that we can help recapture more of that, more agricultural waste. There's a tremendous amount of agricultural waste, dairy waste, that methane is not being captured. We believe that we can, in fact, we've been doing projects to start capturing that for years, and now ours are going to be more and more and more. We're looking for ways to do more of that. And there are some experiments that are going on with algae and some other things to see if they can manufacture it at a commercial level.
So if the renewable push from the gas company, and I know it's pretty much in your name, but is to capture gas, then don't we get back to the problem of we have problems in the safety of storing gas? Why are we capturing gas? Why don't we move towards renewable fuels that don't deal with potentially dangerous side effects? Methane gas is, at least I've read, as high as 10 times worse than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas for climate change.
Renewable natural gas is actually very, very clean. And so that would have, we're also looking at using renewable natural gas in the heavy duty truck sector, which would basically be a zero emission, near zero.
Don't you have to burn gas?
Yes, but by taking it out, by taking the methane away from the sources where it was otherwise going straight to atmosphere.
But not in concentrated form.
Not concentrated, well,
It would be like reabsorbed naturally like it has been for millions of years.
Okay, I'm going to ask if we can move on because I'm looking at time.
I understand, can I just?
One more?
Yeah, one more. There was a hanging chat about odor, and you talked about I guess we're not a chemist, but I think the question was more of, if there are chemicals that are odorants that can be added that are not carcinogenic, why wouldn't we want that as a condition before we even discuss any opening or restructuring of gas capture?
The two primary odorants that are used in the United States by the largest companies are both
Carcinogenic.
to some degree. As I'm not a chemist, I'm not going to say which one is worse, but the others may be worse. I don't know.
But I do believe you said that there were chemicals that were not.
I don't know about that.
Oh, then
There are other chemicals that exist. That I know. I do not know other properties or whether.
Darren?
Okay, I'll try to make this as short as I can. Thank you both. Thank you for the information. My question is, do both of you live in our neighborhoods?
I don't. I live in the city. I don't live here.
And I don't.
Somewhere in the 597.
But I spent many years working out here in San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
I spent during the height of the incident, I was out here almost pretty much every day. So I was up at the facility, down at the community resource center. So yeah, I don't.
So
So if you have comment on the motion to defer,
So,
make it.
see,
Listen to what I have to say, please.
See, this
If
is
you don't
why-
have comment otherwise, you're out of order,
This is
and I'll ask you to sit
why
down.
you're gonna be choking and gagging on this garbage.
Your time is up, sir.
forever,
Your time
because
is
you
up.
don't listen to people that don't.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. All right, any other public comments? All right. On the motion to defer to the next meeting,
because they don't know.
speaking in favor of anyone? Julie, you in favor of the motion?
Yeah,
Right.
for obvious reasons that Porter Ranch hasn't passed that for motion, and I would, when it comes to course, I would like to have the exact motion verbiage.
Thank you. All right, any other discussion on this? Seeing none, I think we're ready to take a vote. Roll call, please.
Bovee,
Yes.
Benedetto,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Bruce. Yes. Carson, yes. Dunlap is out of the room.
No, doesn't go back, tell them that you still haven't gone on yet.
Oh, this is a motion to defer.
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Colestat,
Yes.
Lopez, Don,
Yes.
Lopez Darren,
Yes.
Lyle, Morris,
Abstain.
Shindelmeyer, oh, do that.
He's left.
Trinidad,
Yes.
Wall. Thirteen, yes to defer, 0 no, 1 abstain.
All right, thank you very much. The motion is deferred to the next meeting. Want to go now to,
That would be committee reports.
committee reports. Thank you.
Chairman, I'm just gonna step out for a moment for this.
Yes, sir. Committee reports, I'm going to call on Maria Fisk, duly member of the Planning and Land Use tonight. She can answer any questions as we go through this. I'm actually going to chair it, though, Maria, for time purposes, and I also attended the meeting. So there's actually two motions from committee here, A and C. B is on there, but no action was taken, no recommendation was taken by the committee on B. A is a small lot ordinance to ensure that future small lot subdivisions are compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. The committee is recommending to the board the following, and you can see the bullet points there: establish a public hearing process, direct the City of Department of Planning to prepare a summary of current codes and regulations pertaining to townhouse developments for public review. Bullet point 3, all small lot subdivision projects must be governed by a homeowners association or similar governing body. Bullet point 4 on the next page, front yard setbacks must be compatible to the prevailing setbacks of the adjacent properties. 5, the guest parking lot for 4 or more newly constructed units shall also provide a ratio of 1/2 parking lot per unit, parking space per unit. Bullet point 6, a minimum distance of 3 foot is required between each unit. And bullet point last, ensure that all developments are constructed according to approved plans and that these provisions are enforced. I'm going to, this motion is coming from the committee, does not need a second. I'll open it up for public comment. Yes, sir, Mr. Guzman, I'm going to give you 2 minutes.
Oh, great, because I shouldn't need more than 15 seconds if we do this right.
According to the Brown Act, if the plum committee was.
I'm being interrupted during my public comment, sir. I'd like
Your
to
public
finish.
comment hasn't started yet. Sure.
If the plum committee is open to is open to the public, and the public was allowed to comment there, I believe the Brown Act says that there's no public comment necessary.
Well,
at the main
it does say that, but it also allows the chair to give public comment if
Very
they
well.
wish.
I was
And
just
I'm going to open it up for public comment at this time.
Very well.
Mr. Guzman, you have 2
Thank you
minutes.
very much, Mr. Hubei, and thank you, Don, for questioning, because I know.
You're using your 2 minutes, sir.
It's okay,
Go
because I
ahead.
don't really need it, because it's really very simple. As I mentioned before, a stakeholder member of a standing committee of a legislative body is an anomaly in this world. They are not a chair or a co-chair. That should be a board member. You have a chair.
Sir, you're not speaking.
You are interrupting me. I haven't used up my 2 minutes.
I understand. but you're
You
not
have a
speaking to the
chair
motion,
of
sir.
the meeting who's not here. You have 2 other board members that were at the meeting that are not here tonight. You cannot ask questions of a stakeholder who is not a representative of the board about these issues and the discussion that occurred at the Planning and Land Use Committee meeting. You don't have a written report from the meeting, from the chair of the meeting. You do not have minutes because you don't require them to keep minutes or written reports. So you've got to defer this next month or you'll be looking at another cease and desist order.
Funny guy. I tried.
It's fine. All right, wait for Messino, you have 2 minutes, sir.
2?
Yes, I'm gonna give him 2 minutes. Yes,
He said 2 in the beginning. He gave me 2.
I gave him 2.
Well, I mean, you know, it's defer to her Wesson's rules, which I'll pick up.
But, sir, I'm gonna caution you, speak to the motion, please. If you don't, I will call you out of order and ask you to sit down.
All right, so.
Thank you.
Let him get started at least.
All this like public meetings, okay. So, these small lot subdivisions, it should be a complete ban on these things, not just giving these people a right for this, and especially in this neighborhood. What the hell do you need these things for? And we have a neighborhood integrity initiative coming up in March. How does this relate to that? How will this neighborhood integrity initiative affect this issue? There's nothing here. And so everybody now looks at this and you see these are good questions, and 3 feet between each unit, 36 inches between each unit, and that's what set-asides are gonna be today. I mean, these things are a cancer. They should be outlawed, especially in this valley. You do not need small lot subdivisions. We have plenty of housing now. The problem is we don't have affordable housing. This is not gonna be affordable housing. This is gonna be housing that's overpriced and is gonna sit vacant. And when you have the next market crash in real estate, these developers are gonna be building all this garbage and they're gonna leave it vacant. So another thing you want is performance bonds. They're gonna cut this stuff up, make sure they finish it. If not, it's gonna look like just like it does in Los Angeles and over in Reseda, where you have these vacant lots because the developer went bankrupt. And we're on the verge of that right now. So make sure there's performance bonds, so at least you don't sit there and have a vacant lot for 25 years with a junk pile in there for the next 10. You know, this is the thing though, it's like
Thank you, sir. Your time is up.
you're
Thank you very much for your
consummating
time.
what they're doing.
All right, any other public comment? Yes, sir, you have up to 2 minutes. Give us your name if you like, please.
Gary Pulver.
Yes, Jerry.
Uncle Rumble. But, I'm opposed to all these building restrictions. You know, I believe in redevelopment of neighborhoods. I believe a lot of the existing home stock is both tired and obsolete. And as you allow investors and developers to come in and rebuild, what it does is it revitalizes a neighborhood. It renews it. And it makes it so, you know, it's not tired and old. And, you know, as families grow and you have, you know, people, to get a family into a 1,200 square foot house, this doesn't work. Most people don't live like that. And so, you know, it increases property values, it increases the tax base, and no, as a developer and as an investor, those properties aren't going to just sit there. I mean, it's ridiculous what they're saying. Yeah, people lost money in the last boom, but those were people that took unnecessary risks. And most developers these days are not doing that. They're being very conservative. So it's, in order to improve the valley, I grew up in the valley. I grew up in Woodland Hills. My parents have owned a house here in Granada Hills since the 50s. So I've seen the changes that have happened in the valley and how it has gone downhill because of the lack of redevelopment. And those neighborhoods and those homes need revitalization. They need to be rebuilt.
Thank you, sir. Your 2 minutes are up. Thank you very much for your comments. Really appreciate it. Any other public comment? You're a
Yes, she is.
member of the, she's a member of the committee.
She's public.
You wish to speak?
Yes, I do.
Do.
Okay,
2 minutes.
2 minutes. The small lot subdivision, when it was passed in 2005, many of us were opposed to it because we knew it was a problem. This is a condominium townhome lobby. Now the city gave us an option, and city neighborhood councils, to come up with a flawed ordinance and try to make this a better situation. We have reviewed small lot subdivisions. They don't have a management company organizing them. They were 2 inches apart from each other, each unit. They also didn't have enough guest parking. We have been at this issue since the inception. We like good development. We believe in good development. However, when it has a negative impact on the community, we do make these recommendations. We took these recommendations from many other neighborhood councils, many other neighborhood organizations, Plan Check, you name it, bank and so forth. These are the recommendations we came up with. Agree, it is a flawed ordinance. What do we do with it? We try to make it better. We want to see what we can do with small lot subdivisions so they have some organizations so that they don't have a negative impact on the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, moving to the motion from committee, I'll open it up to the board for discussion. Any discussion for? Any discussion against? Yes, sir. I'm sorry, yes, sir. Ma'am.
I don't understand the parking, how that's not gonna have a negative effect on the community. If you're giving for guest parking for 4 or more newly constructed units shall provide a ratio of half a parking space per unit. Never mind about guest parking, you don't have parking for the people that live there.
Ray, do you want to respond to that as a member of the committee?
Yes, there is.
I don't think she can do that.
Mr. Guzman, she can do that as a member of the committee. That was a question posed.
Thank you, I appreciate that question.
Member of the public.
The reason why it came up is because when we were doing one of the units that had 8, they were basically proposed 8 units. They only have like 1 parking space as guest parking. So our concern is that if you don't have enough guest parking, there is parking allowed for the small lot subdivisions. I believe it's 2 parking spaces per units. But guest parking, if you don't have it, it spills over into the community. That was a concern.
Okay, so that's guest parking.
No, it's guest parking only.
Okay,
To make sure,
now
yes, I want to clarify.
Thank you very much,
That's an
Maria.
R3 zone.
Dave.
All right.
In an R3 zone. Do you know the zoning?
R3s and above. But we have.
Okay, no, please. We've already done public comment. We've already, okay, any other discussion? Favor? Renee, in favor? Motion.
Well, I got a question on it.
All right, you may address Thomas Fisk.
I'd like to ask about the second dwelling unit clarification exactly.
I gotta leave.
What is
I gotta leave or I'm gonna get so
grandfathered
pissed.
and all that stuff? What is the committee's position on this second dwelling unit?
Wait a minute. Hold on, Renee, that isn't the motion. If we get to that, this motion is on small lot subdivisions.
Okay.
Not
All
on
right.
second dwelling.
That's the next
All
one.
right. Are we ready for the motion?
Can I, one last question.
Okay.
Maria,
Done.
are these specifications, do they come from some sort of standardization plan from somewhere else? What was, just very quickly, what was the criteria for making these decisions?
The recommendations for making these decisions was bleeding of all of the other comments that were listed on the council file management system. And the fact that we've had to review a project like this, the fact that Northridge East Neighborhood Council has reviewed projects like this and we've been at their meetings.
All right, so this is becoming the standardized measurements for these items, the spacing of the
This is a
parking.
recommendation to make it a better project.
With community input based.
Right,
Okay,
right.
got it.
Yes.
All right,
Got it.
thank you. All right, I think we're ready for a vote on this. Julie, if you'll do a roll call, please.
Okay.
And Mr. Morris has left the room temporarily? Go
Okay, so
ahead.
this is in support of these recommendations, right?
Yes.
Okay. Lavey,
Yes.
Benedetto,
No.
Ford,
No.
First, abstain. Carson, yes. Dunlap,
No.
Graham,
Yes.
Colstad,
Yes.
Lopez Don,
No.
Lopez Darren,
No.
Lyle,
Yes.
Morris, left the room.
Not here?
Trinidad,
No.
Wall,
Abstain.
so 5 yes, 6 no, 2 abstain.
And the motion carries as abstaining counts as a yes vote. Sorry, that's in our bylaws. Yep. The abstaining counts as a yes vote.
As determined by the, as dictated.
As dictated by
5, 4,
them.
6 against, and
The absentations, according to Dunn, are counted as a yes
right,
vote.
there were 3. So it makes it 5, 6, and 2.
5, 6, and 2 I have.
Yes. So the motion carries. All right, let's move on.
7, 6.
We don't need to deal with B. C is an advanced gas meter replacement. Earthquake safety gas meters were recently replaced throughout Los Angeles to facilitate automated reading. The companies involved may have violated the city ordinance requiring the installation of earthquake shutoff valves. Committee recommendation to the general board is that the gas company should be required to install gas shutoff valves on any homes where they have modified or replaced gas meters. Public comment on this? Yes, sir. You have 1 minute. Due to the time.
Yeah, this is a good one. Now, the problem is enforcing it. Because you see the gas company again, they got so much going on right now with the money they're splashing on all these people. But if you can find a way to do this is good.
Events to be distributed to local businesses and organizations. So we're gonna, on an ongoing basis, print out enough literature to anticipate the needs of each and every event, as opposed to voting on each and every one of them at a time. Just a bare minimum of what we need. So that's a recommendation, and because it's coming from outreach, we don't need a second, so public comment? Oh, yes, public comment? Seeing none, board comment, in favor?
So, this is for no money, right? Or is this, because there's no money in
This is
that?
just a recommendation. It's a recommendation to
Publish.
publish, in other words, make